right.
Yes, because getting up at 4 in the morning is not going to be fun at all. Yes.
Yeah, this is a perfect time, Google, to be reinstalling Drive on my iPad.
Oh, that's just terrible.
Done now, but I was
Okay.
like, really? This is what we're doing?
Right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Hi, guys. This
Hello.
is Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we are both reviewing. Why am I saying like
Both? Oh, yeah.
like
'cause
we review it separately sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's two separate things. I review one film, you review another, back and forth. That would be an awkward show.
Yes, it would.
We are reviewing tonight an older anime film from the 70s called
Late 70s.
called Galaxy Express 999.
The movie, not the series.
Yes, because I did make that mistake first. Because the place I thought this was streaming, it's not. It's the TV show that's streaming there. The movie isn't. Why isn't the movie streaming anywhere?
That is weird.
Viz Media, get on the ball,
Yes.
please. Put it on Crunchyroll. We know you're going to.
To quote a
Hulu.
Predacon, yes.
Right.
You've never seen Beast Machines?
I have seen Beast Wars.
Okay, thank you.
I was.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be weird. Like, it's not weird anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. You're still in frame though.
I can't do anything about that.
It's all good. It'd be like, if only you could, squeeze the camera frame in. I'm kidding.
I had an idea.
Oh, great. He's got a plan. Move my mic over. As you can see Drew's shadow like moving around, which is always very interesting on my camera. As Drew moves my camera. Whoa, wait a minute. The world's moving. Oh, crap. Help.
I have too many
Ah,
down here.
I can tell. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. Now, And no one's watching this. This is sad.
I know.
Like, perfect. Like, entertaining stuff, and no one is watching us. Oh, well.
They'll get here.
Eventually.
Someone will catch it on the VOD.
Yeah. Don't fall. Please don't fall.
That would have been fun. Oh, I guess
That-
you
that-
did see that.
Yeah, you would see that. That would be hilarious. You're like, oh crap, let's check you're okay. It's like, yeah, I'm fine. Oh my gosh, this is good content.
There.
All right, there we
As
go.
long as I don't come up here,
Ah.
we're good. I just had to move you a little closer.
Yes.
And pray the camera doesn't fall over.
Yeah, because that, like, the whole, oh my gosh, the world's shocking. That was funny. Yeah.
Okay,
Classic content, people. Be like, Patreon.
Patrons, you are welcome. You have no idea what we're even talking about.
Yeah.
You can't see what we're talking about.
Just send them the video.
Just
Or clip it.
go to Facebook. You know what I should really do?
Yeah.
I should let us see the chat.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be really
Not
nice.
that
there, Drew.
anyone's talking yet, but
Exactly. Or what you could do, Drew, is a really simple thing. Is take the very beginning of this video and make a reel out of it or something like that. That'd be really funny.
maybe we'll see.
We'll see.
Okay, yeah, we're good on volume. So
Okay.
somebody's here. Hi, person,
Hello there.
whomever you are.
It's not me because I haven't even looked at it yet.
Yeah, I still haven't checked to see if we're live. Well, obviously, we're live somewhere.
We are
Okay, I do
live.
see us on Facebook,
Facebook and YouTube.
and I am seeing the thing on Twitch.
It was your mother and Padre.
My mom and dad. Okay, cool. Cool. That's what. Where's my Twitch?
Hello.
Where is the Twitch? There's the Twitch. Hi, mom and dad. How are you? That sounds so informal.
It does.
So formal. Hi, mother and father. How are you doing this evening?
So, if you want to see something really funny,
I'm fairly certain that's just my mom because I think my
Probably.
dad's got a thing tonight.
that's cool. Yeah, if you want to see something really funny,
don't rewind. Don't rewind.
oh come
You don't have to
on!
do
Oh
that.
my gosh, go back and rewind. It's so much fun. Or put it on a YouTube shorts or reels or whatever. It'd be funny.
You really want people to see me hopping up and down on one foot?
Maybe.
Ay, ay, ay,
Go,
ay, ay.
just go in and edit, just like cut in and be like, make it good slide. Be like, do some video editing. Challenge yourself.
Says the person who's about to take a month off.
True. Well, yeah, you got time.
I do have other things planned for that time
Oh,
period.
yeah, I know that.
Things to increase, hopefully, some of our viewership.
Yeah, there we go.
We will see. We shall see.
And work,
I've actually announced it already on Facebook, which you may not have seen because you immediately did the thing for the event for this tonight. Like immediately after I saw this, like, hey, you probably didn't even see what I posted.
No, I probably didn't.
Otherwise, there might have been better timing. But I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's all good. I may be streaming something soon.
I saw something like that. I saw something
What
about
I'm referring to.
going back to streaming in a long time hiatus.
Yeah. Well, I've kind of done a little bit here and there, but I've never actually announced I was doing it.
Right.
I just kind of showed up online one night. I was like, hi, guys, we're doing a thing. Because I feel like streaming. And now it's like, okay, I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing so all y'all can make plans.
Yes, for everybody can get on stream and no, not stream, Twitch.
But it's going to be on the same places.
Okay. Yeah, just go and watch him, play a video game of some type or another. Probably Final Fantasy.
It is Final
Go
Fantasy.
figure.
It's the one I've not played.
Which one have you not played?
11.
Oh, 11. Okay.
The first MMO.
Ah, gotcha.
So I'm doing that.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Yes.
how about we get started?
Yes.
Let's
And
get my notes up.
Yeah, eventually the Twitch crowd and the
Everybody will show up here in a bit.
They'll eventually show up, and we'll be in the middle of a nice heated discussion, and everybody's be like, hey guys, hey, what's up?
Anywho.
You're welcome, patrons.
The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who, well, he just wants to go riding on that train. Welcome, Jacob.
Coming down the line. Why, thank you. Let me introduce our co-host, a man who, Drew, for the last time, can you stop complaining about the mechanical body you got? Now you're complaining about the joints not working and this server not working, and DLIP for somehow is now part of your AI program. I don't understand why you would do that. It's just like, okay, be like, you made your choice. Now you can sit and lie with it. Welcome, Drew.
What have you been spoken? I am still a flesh and blood human being.
Are you sure?
Oh, you wouldn't want to spend time in my head. Thanks a lot, Neelit. Flying to the moon. Yeah, tonight we are reviewing an older anime film.
A little more unknown for some of us because I never heard of this. I've heard of one character. That's about it.
The movie we're reviewing is called Galaxy Express 999, or as the characters kept calling that train throughout the whole film, the Galaxy Express 39,
Yes.
because that's not confusing.
No. It's not confusing at all.
It is based on an anime that's based on a manga, and it's about a space train. And the primary reason I chose it was because, well,
I like trains.
I do like trains.
Apparently.
So yeah, that's what we're reviewing tonight.
Okay.
So yeah, why don't we go ahead and jump into this?
Yeah. Shall we?
Certified fresh and spoiler free.
So this is my first viewing, believe it or not.
Yes.
I had heard about this, I guess it was about 20 years ago.
Roughly.
And I was following Funimation at the time, and had announced a release of an anime called The Galaxy Railways. Mm-hmm. And of course, this got my attention because
I like trains.
This is going to be a running gag through this entire episode.
if not for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Next train cartoon we do. It's too bad that I didn't have this either time we did Transformers, because we had Astro Train. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that got my attention, and I was looking into what it was, and I was like, oh, this is based on Galaxy Express 999. I go, oh, well, I probably ought to look that up first. And then I never did, and then I never watched that show, so I still haven't. You're really asking that because I can tell that the thing's not on there.
I know that.
It wasn't on there the last 2 weeks that the fan was running.
I was just curious. I didn't want to interrupt your train of thought. Woot, woot.
So you posted something in there for me to comment on.
Yes. I know, so brave.
This is like the exact opposite of when I would get up to do something while you were talking and it would distract you. It's like, you're supposed to keep talking. You're not supposed to do what you're doing now. It was fine.
You realize I have severe form of ADHD and dyslexia, right? Like anything moves like squirrel.
I'm aware of this. I'm just saying this. You did the same thing I do to you.
Exactly. Except,
So, yes.
yeah.
Where was I? Before
I don't know.
my good friend distracted me.
Oh, you.
Other than I like trains.
Apparently retro.
So, Retro, you have way too much time on your hands.
You're not kidding.
I don't even know what you're spelling now.
I'm lost too. It's like, what are you
I don't
spelling?
think it came through on our thing the right way, because I got train. Train.
Train.
Train of thought. That's what
Train
he
of
said.
thought, okay.
He just hasn't posted past the G yet.
Train of thought. Yeah. Yeah. The train of thought goes choo choo out of the line.
Choo choo boogie woo 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 boogie choo 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 boogie. Take me right back to the track, Jack.
You're gonna get us censored.
Why? This is gonna get cut out.
Right.
Anyway, this is my first. I'm going to start over because I don't remember what I said now.
Take two.
No Retro. That's whoa.
Whoa. Keanu Reeves. Whoa.
Anyway, this is my first time watching this film. I had heard of it before because there was an anime that came out back in 2005 or so called The Galaxy Railways that I thought about watching. And I don't know if I didn't watch it because I didn't, because I never did find this. I just remember being advertised. But I knew, I was like, okay, I need to watch, because since it's based on this thing called Galaxy Express 999,
Yeah.
I probably ought to look into that first. And then I never found that. And so, yeah, things just didn't happen because,
Yeah.
life.
Yes.
So all I knew about this movie prior to hitting play, actually, prior to finding out that the listing I saw on Tubi was actually for the TV show instead of for the movie, and then having to go search for the movie and finding a place where I could acquire it.
Acquire it.
That's the word.
Yeah, that's a good word. Acquire it.
I knew no, and I do want to thank Nathan Marchand for giving me a heads up of the best places to acquire it.
Thank you, Nate.
More on him later.
Yeah, who's or who not might be coming up later.
We'll see.
You never know.
But all I really knew about it was it was in space. There were trains.
I like trains.
Fly me to the moon.
And there was a lady with a black Russian hat.
Yeah.
And that's all I knew. I knew nothing else. So yeah, I went into this like completely blind, only knowing that there was a space train. Had to find out what that is, because boy, is there any more of an anime thing than Space Train? You just don't hear about that in other places.
No, you don't.
Very much an anime concept.
Yes.
But yeah, that's all I knew about it. I watched it. I do wish that the people who have the rights to put this out would put out a good, nice, clean version.
Yes.
This did make me want to go back and actually watch the actual show. I will say that.
Where can you watch that?
You can watch that on Tubi. But it was, it's a little slow going at first.
No.
You can kind of tell it's adapting like directly, like copy and pasted scripts from the actual cartoon, from the actual anime. But other than that, yeah, this is just classic old anime, and it's kind of like even character designs. You don't see this anymore. So I enjoyed what I watched. Yeah, if you can find it, give it a shot. Just bear in mind it's a bit on the slow side, especially starting off. Jacob,
like Drew said, this was my first time watching this film. I had never heard of it. I had heard of Captain
Harlock, which
sorry.
I was going to leave that off because
Harlock.
that's kind of a spoiler.
Yeah.
But you've already mentioned it, so yeah,
Yeah,
Captain
'cause-
Harlock's in this.
yeah,
I'd
he's
heard
a-
of him before.
I've heard of him before. And Drew, like I saw it on the docket, and it's like, and it was like, oh, okay, we're gonna watch it this way, okay. And
And then I find out I'm wrong.
yes, he was wrong. So I go to play the version of which he watched it. I brought it over. It didn't work on my device.
I did not.
Then,
The thing is, I did not watch it on the disc I gave it to you. I watched it on the method
Gotcha.
of acquirement,
got it.
and then yours disc didn't work, so I found another way to get it to you.
Yes, and so he got me this other method, and it worked like a charm. And it took me. Well, I watched it. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember which.
Tuesday.
Yes, it was Tuesday. And I get about 30 minutes in this. I'm already dead tired. It's like, you know what? I'm going to call it a night. And
I need to comment on something Retro Rewind
Yes.
podcast just said in our
Yes.
chat.
yes,
Roy,
love you, Roy.
by Grabthar's hammer, by the Sons of Orvan, Jacob is going to kick your butt. Because he does not like Galaxy Quest for some unknown reason.
I have to go back and rewatch this film because apparently I just didn't have. It was a bad.
You were
taste
in
in
a
my-
bad, you were not in the right frame of mind.
exactly.
And it is in, I'll admit for you, it is in that weird area
It
where
is.
it's taking itself a little too seriously
Yes.
for a comedy. So, Wahahaha, is that what you're typing, Retro?
Yeah. yeah. Yes.
Anyway,
You know, well, I guess
Continue, I'm leaving this in.
I guess we will have to have Roy on when we review Galaxy Quest at some point.
at some point, we still have some other things from that
Yes.
particular era of our podcasting careers.
Yes.
We do need to redo for this. That requires some guests too.
Yes,
but
agreed.
we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So, so I watch it, and this movie, as I described it, is slow as wax melting. It's very slow, and if you have an attention span like me, like a gopher, you're like, it doesn't help.
It's a very quiet show.
It's a very quiet movie, and it's like I found the main protagonist very dull, very boring, and it was like, okay, this is the kid's motivation. Oh my gosh, this is gonna not be a very good movie. I guarantee Roy would not like the first third of this movie.
To quote a very popular meme from the Retro Rewind podcast, this movie is slow and boring to begin.
Yes, it is very
At the
slow
very
and boring.
beginning.
It is slow and boring. But eventually, like last night, I got around to actually finishing it, and I was thoroughly impressed. I was like, wow, okay, you have this very long, drawn out story, and it reminds me of like nowadays where TV shows are like maybe like 10 or like 8 to 12 episodes. Like back in the 70s, you can go forever and do something. And I appreciate what they did, what the movie did. And I was thoroughly impressed with it. The very end, but it is a very dragging. It's like it's dragging Knuckles in order to not the echidna Knuckles, but Knuckles to get to the end of the rail with this movie. But it ended on a good note. It was a good movie. It was qualifiable as a movie.
This is going to be an interesting episode.
Yes, I'm not saying it's a
let
bad
me,
movie.
Let me ask. I was about to say. Let me ask you this: would this have made it onto a bad movie month episode? If
no.
we'd have known about it ahead of time.
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. It doesn't really qualify for that either.
No.
But
it's not Leo. Like, we don't talk about Leo.
heck, this isn't even as bad as Emoji Movie, which was the nicest one we watched.
You're not kidding. Go back and listen to that garbage.
But either way, why don't we go ahead and jump into the spoiler-filled section?
Uh-huh.
The following is the spoiler-filled review for the film Galaxy Express 999.
Whoop, whoop.
Listener discretion is advised.
I like trains.
Galaxy Express 999 was directed by Rentaro, one word. That is his full name.
Rentaro.
Or at least that's his screen name,
Oh, okay.
for lack of a better term.
Gotcha.
We have, however, done a movie that he was involved with.
Really?
He was in the animation department for Ninja Scroll.
Oh, the movie. I forgot to tell him about certain things.
Certain things, yes.
Certain things, yes.
It was written by Kon Ichikawa and Fumio Ishimori, and based on the manga by Leiji Matsumoto. And before I get too far after this point, I need to point out that Galaxy Express 999, both the movie and the TV show, are technically a loose part of the what's known as the Legiverse, because most of Leiji Matsumoto's space manga, such as Galaxy Express 999, Captain Harlock, and Spaceship Yamamoto, are all in the same galaxy.
Really?
Or same space stuff. So characters from this and from those shows tend to come back and forth every once in a
I
while.
got you. So it's not a lost galaxy?
It's not a lost galaxy. It's not and they're not on a galaxy quest. But
They're not space rangers?
They're not Mega Rangers either.
They're not Mega Rangers either?
Or Gingaman for that, if we're going to get real specific here.
You go, what?
I'm using the Sentai names for the two different Ranger teams you brought up.
You're welcome.
Mega Ranger for in space, Gingaman for Lost Galaxy.
Yes.
Yes, I am a nerd. Let's continue.
You think?
But no, these all exist in the same time and place in the universe.
I
And
gotcha.
so when necessary, characters from all of these show back up. In fact, it's not really shown here. Or it's not explained very well. But the pirate, the female pirate, Emeraldus, is actually the twin sister of Maytel. So yeah, they don't look. The reason they look alike, at least these two characters look alike, are intentional.
Gotcha.
But anyway, yeah, all this takes place in kind of the same universe. So,
Got it.
Getting into the cast, I am using the ADV dub. There are actually two. There's of course the original Japanese dub plus the New World Productions dub.
I've
went
heard
with
of this.
I went with the ADV dub because A, it was the one I found, and that's So Tetsuro Hoshino was played by Saffron Henderson, who played Gohan in the Ocean dub of Deep Dragon Ball Z. I will say you are going to notice a pattern in terms of the work some of our cast has done.
Got it.
Maytel and Tetsuro's mother and Queen Prometheum were all played by Kathleen Barr.
Okay.
And in the classic computer animated television series Reboot.
Oh,
She played Dot Matrix.
interesting.
Claire was played by Jonsei Jod, and she played Kagura in Inuyasha.
Kangura. I'm familiar with that character.
I did look some of these up. None of them are the main people.
No.
Except for one is technically close. We'll get to him in a minute.
Gotcha.
Literally in two people. But yeah, I kind of got the feeling this was a side character, but a fairly major one because the characters did also show up in Inuyasha movies.
I gotcha.
So,
okay. Gotcha.
played by the same actress.
Got it.
Shadow, not Shadow the Hedgehog, but Shadow was played by Jane Perry, and she played Scorpion in Combat Kids Mortal Kombat Begins. I put this on the list because I'm like, what on earth is this? I need to look it up. I want to see how fatalities work in this. Or are they all babalities? I will have to find out, and I will report back to you next week.
Babe.
That was one of the fatality possibilities.
Oh,
on that.
okay. Gotcha.
The narrator and Antares was voiced by Don Brown, and he voiced Jaken in Inuyasha. I did look him up. He is Jockin. Sorry. So you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who Jockin is.
It's Sesshomaru's buddy.
Yeah.
Or Toady. Literally, he's a toad. Toady.
Yeah.
Either way.
Master Sesshomaru!
Captain Harlock was voiced by Scott McNeil, who we all know as Piccolo in the Ocean Group dub of Dragon Ball Z.
Or, as I finally learned who he was like, we all gonna die.
Oh, yes. Which brings us back to Mainframe Entertainment and Reboot. So it's all a big circle.
Yes. In a train metaphor.
Yes. Queen Emeraldus was voiced by Nicole Oliver. And
That name sounds familiar.
oh yeah, it was familiar to me too, and you'll find out why I said it was familiar in a minute.
Gotcha.
But I did some looking up. It's like, this name sounds familiar. I'm half expecting this is somebody else from Inuyasha, isn't it? And I didn't find an Inuyasha connection there, but
Wink. Ears. Wink.
I here's the funny part. I know what you're referencing, but considering the role she's most well known for, especially in the last 15 years,
Oh no.
that fit, actually.
Okay, let's hit me with it.
In My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, she's the voice of Princess Celestia, aka the Pony Goddess.
Oh my gosh. Zip.
She also played Betty Ross in Hulk Versus, by the way.
Okay.
Just a little thing to throw else in there.
a little bit there. Okay.
Yeah, the thing she's most well known for, especially in the last 15 years.
I gotcha. Okay.
The conductor was voiced by Terry Klassen, who voiced Krillin in the Ocean Group dub of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh my gosh.
Toshiro Oyama was voiced by John Payne, and he played Ant-Man in the 2006 Fantastic Four cartoon.
Oh.
Lastly, Count Mecha was played by Paul Dobson, and he was Naraku in Inuyasha.
Oh, okay. That voice sounds familiar now. It's
Yeah.
like, okay. I was like, that sounds familiar. But it's again, by the end of the film, I'm like, okay, this is where we're going.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even realize. It was like, oh, okay. The crafty villain. Okay. The crafty
Yes.
villain that keeps coming back and bite you in the butt.
I like how you put that. The crafty villain. She does craft. Technically. Either way. Kingdom Hearts connections. Remember, we have the original Japanese cast, the New World Productions cast, and the ADV, or the Ocean Group cast, to include in this. Among all three of those casts, how many Kingdom Hearts connections do we have?
I'm going to give 4.
Higher.
8.
Higher.
20.
Lower.
10.
Lower.
9.
9.
Okay.
It is 9.
9.
Only 2, though, are from any of the English casts.
Really?
First off, we've got Corey Burton,
Oh.
who is the voice of the conductor in the New World Productions dub. In Kingdom Hearts, he plays Captain Hook, the White Rabbit, the Doorknob, Flotsam, Jetsam, Diz, Ansem the Wise, Dale, Yen Sid, the Master Control Program, Sark, Santa Claus, Shan Yu, the Peddler, and the Magic Mirror. Why must you be in everything?
Corey Burton.
The thing is, I've looked into that. He did not intentionally get into Kingdom Hearts with that many roles. He is the voice of all those characters in like different things, and so they just reused the cast. And so he was in the thing for a long time in the recording booth. And our good friend from last week, Tony Pope,
Oh.
because last week he was the 1985 radio announcer.
Yes.
Here he played the characters of Olaf and Captain Warlock. New World Productions changed some character names.
I heard.
Olaf actually was Antares, and Captain Warlock was Captain Harlock.
See that one. Olaf was who?
Antares, the old guy that wanted to X-ray everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. His in the New World Productions, his name was Olaf.
And I like warm hugs.
Well, you're not wrong.
No, he's not. No, I'm not. I'm completely right.
So yeah, he played Geppetto in Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
But in the Japanese version,
You mean the original version?
yes, Masako Nozawa, who in this played Tetsuro Hoshino, but we know her better as being the original voice and still the current voice of Goku in Dragon Ball Z.
Didn't she recently pass?
No, she's still alive and kicking.
Oh my
She's got something coming out soon.
Really?
Yeah.
Another Dragon Ball?
Yeah. Dragon Ball Daima.
Daima, okay.
But yeah, she was Merryweather in Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Banjo Ginga.
Banjo Ginga.
That's the guy's name.
Wow, that's a name. Someone got
He was,
parents that really creative when they
or
named
this
him.
guy just really wanted a good screen name.
A name that pops. Banjo.
He played the captain of the guard in this film, and he was Clayton in Kingdom Hearts. We still need to do Tarzan. I still can't believe we hadn't done that one yet.
Tarzan's good. Tarzan
Strangely
is
enough.
very, very good.
Makio,
And how much we talk about it anyway?
yeah, Makio Inoue was the voice of Captain Harlock, and I suspect was the original voice of Captain Harlock across all the animes. He was Master Ericus in Kingdom Hearts. I'd like to point out that a Space Pirate voiced the same character as the Last Jedi Knight did,
Really?
because Mark Hamill voices Ericus in the English version.
Okay.
Interestingly enough,
Yes.
Ryuji Sakichi was the bartender in Galaxy Express, and he is both Rafiki and Sneezy in Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Masako Akita was Maytel in this, and she played Kyrie's grandmother in Kingdom Hearts. Miyoko Aso played Tochiro's mother in this and was Flora in Kingdom Hearts. And Kaneda Kimotsuki was the conductor in this and played Jiminy Cricket in Kingdom Hearts.
Jimmy Crickets.
And that is all our Kingdom Hearts connections. There was
Wow.
no Smash Brothers this week.
Wow. Surprising.
So, Jacob, what do we have in info and stuff?
All right. So info and stuff. Able to watch. It's not able to stream, so we will not.
It's on the archive,
Okay. Go watch it on the archive.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No. So,
Make like Captain Harlock.
if you want to own a physical copy, you can go to eBay.
And pay a buttload of money.
Not really. Not.
I didn't
really.
look it up. How much is it?
I did. It can go as low as $19 or $29.
Really? That's
Yeah.
almost good enough. That's almost cheap enough to buy.
on a. Now, mind you, I could not find an English dub of it.
Okay, so yeah, we're talking about the Japanese version, and if we got lucky, it might be the New World Productions one,
Yeah.
not the ADV one.
And it might be because they had a Blu-ray of it at one point.
Yeah, like released in 2015, and it's
Yeah.
just gone.
Yeah, it's sold outside of a
And
print.
definitely out of print.
It's selling for like $200.
It was on Crunchyroll. Believe it or not, this movie was on Crunchyroll for a time.
Really?
Back before Crunchyroll was bought by Funimation.
Oh, okay.
before it became Crunchymation.
Wow. Okay.
I did find that,
Okay then. All right. So
but it was a long time ago.
IMDb it has 7.4. Rotten Tomatoes has a 91%. I'm like, what?
It's a classic.
I agree. It's a classic.
And this is one of those early anime films that got over here, so it's got a little bit of a nostalgia
Yes.
thing to it.
All right. So production was Toei Animation and distributed by Toei Company. It had a runtime of 129 minutes. It felt like 3 hours.
It's slow. That's the thing.
Like a train going down the tracks with its brakes on. Slow.
You're not supposed to be in a hurry if you're on the train, especially not one that's not a.
To Pluto?
It's a long trip to Pluto.
You think?
Not to mention Andromeda,
Yeah.
which I'd like to point out is another galaxy.
About to say, yeah, the Andromeda Galaxy.
They didn't really point that out. It's like,
No,
oh, yeah,
they didn't.
We run to the next. We'll go through this tunnel in space, and now we're in Andromeda. It's like, that's another galaxy.
Exactly.
How did you go from Pluto to Andromeda in what 5 minutes? that wasn't a tunnel. That was a wormhole.
What is Deep Space Nine around the corner?
Could be. The will of the prophets guide us.
Oh gosh. If you don't get that reference, ask
You're
me
not
later.
you don't watch Deep Space Nine.
Exactly. Now I'm curious. All right. From Earth to Pluto, it's 4.67 billion miles.
Okay,
Again, long movie.
let's be fair. When this movie came out in what 78?
79.
79. I'm 90% certain Pluto was on our side of Neptune, not the far side like it is now.
True.
But anyway,
Anywho. All right. So,
that being said, make Pluto a planet again.
yeah, come on. It's a planet. Even though probably just an ice rock.
I understand the reasoning why I hate it. Let's make it a planet.
All right. So, release
make Sarah Eris a planet too. I don't care.
Eris. Ow.
Eris is a dwarf planet that is actually bigger than Pluto and is sitting in the asteroid belt.
Oh, okay. I've heard that before. Ow. Sounds. That's not good.
Yeah, there's a big base outside.
Yes, and that really bugs my hypersensitivity. Either or, give me 1 second. I apologize. You're not helping.
I like trains.
That cut the cheese. All right, so release date August 4th, 1979 in Japan, and it was released over here in stateside on August 8th, 1981. There again, neither one of us was born yet.
Yeah.
All right, so box office, let's coming down the line. Galaxy Express. I nearly said the other film was 1979's highest grossing domestic film in Japan, earning a distributor. Thank you.
Or disputed.
No,
The first one?
The first word. Oh my gosh. Distributor.
Distributed by.
Distributor rental income was 1.26 billion yen. In the box office, it made 4.2 billion yen, equivalent to estimated gross receipts of an approximately 4.2 billion yen. So yeah, it was number one in Japan when it came out. So when home video releases, talking about here in the States, the film was picked up for distribution. Be like, that's weird, because it'll be like, I can read distribution all day.
Yeah.
And then I get stuck on
distributor.
Yeah, just for I get stuck on the word for some weird reason. Like, learning disorders are weird. Anyway.
Well, admittedly, when you say distribution, you are skipping over the last bit of it somehow.
Yeah.
When you say distribution, the last part of the base word.
Yes.
Either way.
Yes.
Moving on.
Moving right along.
Dig-a-doom, dig-a-doom.
All right, the film was distributed.
We're back.
We're back to that word again.
It was distributed.
Distributed in the United States by Roy Corn's New World Pictures in 1980, but
Thanks,
was
Roy.
shelved. Yeah, thanks, Roy. But was shelved until 1982 after test bookings. The film received theatrical distribution in the United States after the establishment of anime fandom in the West. The film premiered in the United States on August 8th, 1981. The American version of the film was edited down from the original 129 minutes to 91 minutes and changed characters' names like
Like Captain Warlock.
oh no, this one's better. Tetsuro
Tetsuro.
be like he was named Joey
Joey.
Joey
Hey, you.
Joey Hanakana Babana Smith.
What?
It's right there.
I don't doubt you. I do not doubt you.
Yes.
Oh, here's your. Okay, you said Roy Corman. That's Roger Corman.
That's what I'm.
That's a major name we
know.
can't gloss over. Roger Corman, the man who puts so much. He doesn't. He's one take. He puts out so many freaking movies, and not all of them are very good.
I'm aware of this. I misread it.
Okay, well, let me see the character.
Run me over with the train already. Why don't ya?
Hang on.
I like trains.
I'll cut out the I like trains part and just do the train itself. Okay.
All right,
Joey Hanabana Monfana the third.
Smith.
I should say that's right. Joey, let's see. Angelina Contessa Luisa Francesca Banana Bobesca the third.
That's better.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with Animaniacs at all.
No, of course not. The second film, the film's second English language adaptation, was produced by Vid Media. Am I saying that right? Vid Media.
Viz Media.
Viz Media. Yeah, Viz Media, and released in 1996.
Yeah, I think I kept saying ADV earlier now that I think
You
about
did.
it. And it's Viz. It's not
Yeah,
ADV.
Viz. Yeah, Viz. The DVD version of Galaxy Express 999 was released in the United States on June 28th, 2011 by Discotheque Media. It featured the English sub and dub VizDub version of the film. So that's all I have for info stuff. It may misreading 1,000 other things.
It happens.
It does.
Getting into the summary, and I'm going to warn you now. This summary might be the longest summary we've ever had on the show. Because
Did you trim it like the original version?
No, I
was?
did not trim it. This is very detailed.
We're going to be here all night.
Not
people.
all night.
Just
I'll go
embrace
quick.
yourself. Okay. So we got to put Drew and fast forward.
The film opens with this. I'm not going that fast.
He'll run out of air and pass out, and then I gotta call ambulance to get him, and all live on Facebook. That's
Yes.
great.
And Twitch and everywhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. The film opens in the distant future.
Is it in 2000?
It didn't say when it was.
That's just sad. It's always
It should be the far distant future of 2002.
Yeah. Like Transformers, the movie, 2005.
It's like, yeah.
Like I really want a hot rod running around messing things up.
Humanity now freely traverses space and has developed a way to transfer consciousness into mechanized robotic bodies as means to potentially obtain eternal life. Although the process of mechanization is expensive, there are rumors that anyone who makes it to the last stop of the Galaxy Express 39, an advanced intergalactic transit system resembling a passenger train pulled by a JNR Class C-62 steam locomotive. Did I mention this is entirely too detailed?
You think?
Can get a machine body for free. To get there is the goal of 12-year-old street urchin Tetsuro Hoshino.
I knew he was like 12 or 10 years old.
Of course, he's voiced by Gohan.
Oh, that makes sense now.
And Harlock was Piccolo.
Oh, brother.
That puts things in a different perspective.
I'm not
doesn't it?
surprised Harlow didn't slap him. Harlock, sorry, Harlock.
Yes. Anyway, he is living in the slums of Megalopolis City, where the 999 makes its stop on Earth for one day of each year. Tetsuo attempts to swipe a pass for the train with the help of his friends, only to be apprehended by mechanical policemen and losing a scarab-like locket in the altercation. Before fleeing the scene, he meets a mysterious woman who bears a striking resemblance to his late mother, who collects the locket. Of course, every woman in this thing bears a striking resemblance to his mother. Just saying. With the police in hot pursuit, Tetsuro sees the woman again later on a balcony and faints trying to reach her. She saves him from the police and uses a device to look into his dreams, where she watches young Tetsuro lose his mother to the villainous Count Mecha, who hunts humans for trophies. Tetsuro awakens to the sound of the woman seemingly talking to someone in the shower, only to find her alone. He shortly thereafter learns the woman's name is Maytel and explains to her he wants a mechanical body so he can kill Count Mecha in revenge. Returning his locket, revealing it to house a photograph of his mother, Maytel offers him a ticket for the 999 under the condition that they travel together, to which Tetsuro agrees. They narrowly avoid the police once more and go to Megalopolis Station, where the train departs Earth for its journey to the Andromeda Galaxy. The train's conductor announces the first stop of the journey is to be Saturn's moon Titan, which has been terraformed to have a hospitable atmosphere, with a layover of 16 Earth days, which is roughly 1 day on Titan. Upon arriving, however, Tetsuo witnesses a man get murdered in broad daylight and Maytel gets kidnapped by bandits,
Surprise, surprise.
before he himself gets knocked out. Awakening in the house of an elderly woman who saved him, Tetsuro learns that Titan is governed under Paradise Law, essentially an anarchy where everyone can do as they please, and that Maytel was kidnapped by the Grape Valley Bandits. Though initially telling him not to pursue her, the old woman helps Tetsuro rescue Maytel by providing him with a hat and poncho to shield him from Titan's intense sunlight, as well as a gun for self-defense, all of which belong to her son, Toshiro Oyama. With this, Tetsuro sets out to find Maytel and meets Antares, the leader of the Grape Valley Bandits. After saving a young girl in his care from a machine man, Antares lets Tetsuro tells Tetsuro that the gun he carries, the warrior's weapon, is highly effective against mechanized people, and upon hearing Tetsuro is traveling on the 999 to get a machine body and kill Count Mecha, takes him in and checks him as well as the captive Maytel to make sure they are not mechanized. After discerning they are not, Antares shows Tetsuro and Maytel unexploded bullets still inside him, and then shows them the many children he's caring for, all orphaned by Count Mecha. They speculate on where Count Mecha's hideout, the Time Castle, will appear next, and Antares tells Tetsuro that one person who may know is the space pirate Emeraldus, and tells Tetsuro to show no mercy when meeting Count Mecha. He lets them go free, and Tetsuro thanks the old woman who helped him before he and Maytel returned to the train. She tells him to keep her son's clothes and gun, and Tetsuro promises to tell Toshiro that she is still waiting for him if he should happen to encounter him while traveling. The next stop on their journey is Pluto, the dog planet. A planet where the bodies of people who died or gave up their humanity for machine bodies are kept locked in solid ice. From here, Tetsuro witnesses Maytel looking at someone under the ice and meets a faceless machine woman named Shadow. This is the year of Shadow, after all.
Yes.
The caretaker of the icy graves. She shows Tetsuro her original body and kept in an elegant glass casket, and reveals that her machine body is faceless because she knew no other face could be as beautiful. Then Shadow nearly freezes Tetsuro to death, clinging to him for his warmth, before Maytel intervenes and saves him, rebuking the sorrowful Shadow for being unable to decide between a life as a machine woman and life as a human woman. Then depart Pluto and back on the train, make the acquaintance of a young waitress named Claire who has a machine body made of crystal glass. Tetsuro, enamored by her beauty, strikes up a friendship with Claire, and she explains that she obtained her glass body at the behest of her mother, but hopes to buy back her old body from Pluto. Shortly after this, the train is passed by the Queen Emeraldus, the spaceship of Emeraldus. Tetsuro, out of desperation, fires his gun at the ship to get Emeraldus' attention, causing her to board the Galaxy Express and hold Tetsuro at gunpoint. Emeraldus stops short of killing Tetsuro after seeing Tochiro's gun in his possession and relents completely when Maytel appears with Tochiro's hat. Tetsuro learns that Maytel and Emeraldus know each other and that Emeraldus and Tochiro are lovers. The space pirate reluctantly informs Tetsuro that the time capsule will appear next near Trader's Fork, a way station on the arid planet Heavy Melder, the train's next stop. Claire pleads to the conductor to pass Heavy Melder, but he refuses, knowing he would be fired for negligence if he did, while also recognizing Claire's concern for Tetsuro well-being, much to her embarrassment. At Trader's Fork, which resembles an old west frontier town, Tetsuro finds his way to a saloon where a beautiful machine woman named Ryuzu performs a song before a tearful crowd. Tetsuro, having made a friend in the sympathetic bartender after being taunted by some of the other patrons for ordering milk, asks if the old man might know where the time capsule will appear, sending the entire saloon into silence. The bartender cautiously takes Tetsuro into a storeroom after trying to warn him of the danger, tells him to venture out a ship near Mount Gun Frontier, where an eccentric who knows the answer lives. Tetsuro travels there on a ramshackle motorized bicycle. Let's face it, that was a tricycle, and discovers a downed ship at the base of the mountain, where he encounters Tochiro leaving alone inside of it, with his only company being the bird Tori-san. Seeing Tetsuro and his clothes and gun, and learning he knows his mother, Tochiro invites Tetsuo inside, telling the young boy that he will soon succumb to an illness he contracted while trying to chase Count Mecha across the galaxy himself. Before he can die, however, Tochiro informs Tetsuro that the time capsule will next appear on the other side of Mount Gun Frontier and warns him to shoot Count Mecha in his weak point, his head. Following this, he enlists Tetsuro in helping activate a machine mere moments before his death, which vaporizes his body and somehow transfers his consciousness into a supercomputer of the Arcadia, the ship of his best friend and Tetsuro's hero, Captain Harlock. Tetsuro then erects a memorial to Tochiro and tries to make his way back to Trader's Fork, but gets assaulted by thugs from the saloon working for Count Mecha, who steals his gun and leave him for dead. Returning to Trader's Fork, the badly beaten Tetsuro attempts to reclaim his gun, but gets pinned to the saloon floor by the largest of the thugs. However, before they can harm him further, Harlock enters the saloon and saves Tetsuro by overpowering the thug, and forcing him to drink milk. This needs to be a Got Milk commercial.
You're not kidding. That sounds like a shirt idea.
Yeah. Which kills him by arresting him from the inside. Harlock tells Tetsuro that he saved him in return for what he did to Tochiro, and they meet up with Maytel and Emeraldus, the latter of whom leaves the scene in silence after Harlock informs her that Tochiro has died. Tetsuro then makes his way over Mount Gun Frontier to the Time Castle, a giant technologically advanced floating castle that can travel through space and time. He discovers, much to his horror, the taxidermied remains of his mother mounted on a fireplace inside.
Dum, dum, dum.
Dun dun. Before encountering Count Mecha, who was alerted to Tetsuro's arrival by Ryuzu, his lover. The confrontation is briefly interrupted by a cloaked figure revealing himself to be Antares, who came to help Tetsuro fight Count Mecha in the name of his orphaned wards. The bandit helps Tetsuro buys Tetsuro enough time against Count Mecha's men for him to chase the mechanized Count to the Time Castle Central Computer Chamber, where Tetsuro shoots off one of Count Mecha's arms before the latter calls down a glass capsule to try and safely move the Time Castle forward through time and escape. However, as Ryuzu suddenly hesitates to advance time, and Antares enters to help Tetsuro, sacrificing his life with the bullets inside of him go off after being shot by Count Mecha's gun, killing him and shattering the capsule. Before he dies, the bandit warns Tetsuro not to trust Maytel. Tetsuro shoots Count Mecha in the head just as he attempts to advance time, killing him. Ryuzu reveals that Tetsuro reminded her of what it was like to be human, and this caused her to betray Count Mecha, who only became a monster after being mechanized. Tetsuro then flees the time castle as it crumbles into dust, and Ryuzu dies, her body rusting away. And it was at this point I thought the movie was done originally.
Same.
However, outside, Tetsuro meets with Harlock and Maytel, who question what he will do now that his mother was avenged. He no longer wanting a mechanized body and seeing what rejection of one's humanity can do to others, Tetsuro explains that his revenge will not be complete until he stops mechanization once and for all, and therefore thanks Maytel for helping him onto the 999. The two barely make it back to the station before the train departs, and as they approach the last stop, Tetsuro asks Maytel if he can come live with her when they return to Earth. Maytel sadly reflects to herself that Tetsuro's feelings will change when he realizes who she really is. At last, the train arrives at the final station on the mechanization homeworld in Andromeda, also known as Planet Maytel. Tetsuro, horrified upon hearing the planet's name, learns why Maytel brought him to the planet. The free mechanical body offered there is that of a mechanized component of the planet itself. And Tetsuro was selected to become one in a process Maytel, the planet's princess, has done many times over the years with countless other humans. Betrayed, Tetsuro angrily slaps Maytel but gets incapacitated by guards who take him below the planet to be mechanized in the presence of Maytel's mother and ruler of Andromeda, Queen Prometheum. Before this can happen, Maytel, desperate to save her young companion, enters the room and reveals that she intends to destroy the planet with her pendant, which contains the consciousness of her father and Prometheum's husband, Dr. Pan, or in the original New World Entertainment Productions dub, Dr. Ban.
Dr. Ban?
Dr. Ban, as in the banhammer, as in you are banned. Ban. Literally, he was, I am going to ban mechanization, so I will be Dr. Ban.
I'm going to tell you something later, but yeah.
A traitor. He is a traitor who opposed the mechanized empire and also the mysterious voice Tetsuro heard back on Earth. Dr. Pan explains that the pendant contains enough energy to disrupt the planet's mechanized counterparts, all of whom were transformed willingly in the hopes of someday destroying Prometheum's empire. Though Maytel's initially hesitates due to her connection to the planet, Tetsuro takes the pendant and launches it into the core of Andromeda, setting off its self-destruction. At the same time, outside, the Arcadia and Queen Emeraldus have arrived to fight against the forces of Andromeda, as both Harlock and Emeraldus intend to ensure Tetsuro's survival. Maytel and Tetsuro barely escape with their lives aboard the 999, as Maytel explains her body is an organic copy of his mother's, and that she travels through time through cloning. Suddenly, the enraged Prometheum appears and tries to strangle the life out of Tetsuro, but is interrupted by Claire, who grabs hold of the queen and self-destructs in an act of sacrifice to save Tetsuro, seemingly killing Prometheum. I love that seemingly.
Seemingly, yes.
The 999 returns to Earth, where Maytel tells Tetsuro that she will return to Pluto to be reunited with her original body, and tells him that the next time they meet, he may not recognize her, thereafter kissing him. Tetsuro watches sadly as the 999 departs from Earth, once again with Maytel in tow.
So, with that said, I saw this and was like, yep, that kind of fits with, be like,
Dr. Ban.
Kind of. Not really, but let's see if it actually will play.
You think? 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 You think?
Okay.
I just couldn't help it.
I didn't follow, but sure.
It's something I say all the time.
I know this.
If
You
anybody in
think?
the crowd can figure out what I just played, kudos, points for you.
Miley Cyrus.
Maybe.
Or her counterpart, Hannah Montana.
Okay, he gets points. Whatever. Moving forward.
I can't even remember what her character's name.
It starts with Miley.
I know it's Miley. I don't know the last name.
Stewart.
She should have stuck with Cyrus. Getting into the trivia for this film, I've got one little thing. The film was shown on the Sci-Fi Channel as part of their Saturday anime block. The film there was heavily edited. Scenes cut down include the song that plays as the Galaxy Express takes off from Earth, more of Tetsuo's memories of his mother's death, Tetsuo shattering Maytel's dream sensor and hiding the pieces from Maytel, and more scenes of the time capsule disintegrating. So yeah, all the slow bits.
Yeah, I can imagine make the movie a little more entertaining.
Either way. Why don't we go ahead and talk about what we liked about this film?
Yes.
What's your first like?
Scott McNeil as Captain Harlock.
Okay.
Just because it's Scott McNeil as the act, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. It like Captain Harlock is voiced by Scott McNeil, aka Rat Trap. This is so freaking cool. I just thought I was like, wait a minute. I was like, wait, it's like this nice deep voice, but then it's just like got that pitch, and it's like, wait a minute. Oh my god, that was my first like. It was oh my gosh, me like the movie's been saved. Scott McNeil's here.
So you like the part of the English dub?
Yes. Oh my
This is gonna
God.
be interesting.
Yes, you're not kidding. But it was more as like, okay, this is cool. And then it was like, wait a minute, I'd be like, you have Captain Harlock walks in. I'm like, oh, okay. I recognize this character. I don't know who he is. And then he speaks. I'm like, it's Koga from Inuyasha.
See, I also knew that Inuyasha thing was in there, but I already said Inuyasha too many times.
Yeah, you're not kidding. But I was like, oh
And plus,
my
Piccolo!
God. Yeah, Piccolo. Yeah, the original Piccolo.
Piccolo and Gohan reunited before they met.
Where they met. They're pre how do you say that? They're meeting before they met.
Yeah. Their predestination. It's against their will.
It's against their will.
Anyway.
Yeah, just Scott McNeil as Captain Harlock. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm loving this just because Scott McNeil's in it. I was like, yes, thank you very much. This made this movie 10 times better. Thank you very much. That is my number one.
So I like that this is actually a space fantasy is the best term I can come up for this.
Yes.
But yet it still kind of has that old sci-fi feel to it where one of the things Star Wars did to science fiction, things they added in was the idea that you have to have space battles.
Yes.
And these space battles need to be fighter pilots, basically. They need to be World War II dogfighting.
Yes.
Granted, I do like that in Star Wars, but here we have, this is basically, this is much slower fighting. This is battleships. This is old sailing vessel style fighting. And yet there's this train right in the middle of it for some reason. It's this weird concept of we have a space train that apparently nobody else is on.
But in certain scenes there is.
But yeah, that's the weird part.
Yeah, it's supposed to be high, like people are going all
We
over.
see them get on the train in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I get that maybe we have since we're planning on going to the last stop, maybe we're got the only ones going there. Maybe we have the last car. We have the car to ourselves. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, is there nobody else on this train?
You know what this reminds me of?
In reality?
And in another film, Deadpool. Deadpool goes to the X-Mansion.
Oh, yeah.
And all he can find is Supersonic Warhead and Colossus.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead
Okay.
and Colossus.
And Colossus. It's
Because
what was-
Colossus was apparently not a strong enough license that they could not give it to Deadpool because Fox did not think Deadpool was going to be that successful a film.
Yeah.
Because Fox was staffed by idiots.
Apparently.
Because it's freaking Deadpool.
Well, be like, again, this is not we're going to review Deadpool.
No, we're not reviewing Deadpool. That actually kind of fits in that outside of our reason.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Yeah. Bit
But-
too bloody.
I mean, Deadpool shows up in something, we'll watch it. But I
Yes.
mean, the Deadpool movies, nah.
No.
But anyway, back to what we were talking about.
Yes.
I just love this. First off, I like the juxtaposition of trains and battleships
Oh, my.
in space, and then it's then still a classic, slow, quiet science fiction film, except it's also space fantasy, but without, laser swords and there's blaster fire, admittedly, but it's not. That's not the focus.
Right.
The focus is this kid's story of realizing that he does not need to give up his humanity to find true happiness.
Agreed.
And I think you can pull a bit of a Christian message out of that.
You can.
Because the world, as we see in this, is telling him you need a mechanized body to be successful. You can't be just a normal, plain, average, everyday human. You can't be this thing that you've got to give that up and do what everyone else is doing and get you a mechanized body. And at first, Tetsuro wants that because there is advantages, as we see.
Yeah.
He could walk around in the ice and snow and not freeze to death like he and his mom nearly did. But even though that is a thing, he would lose something far more important than the ability to not freeze in the snow. Or he would lose something far more important than just the ability to freeze in the snow. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
He would lose basically what makes him, the ability to be good.
Yeah.
In many ways. And in so many ways, I feel that's what the world is wanting us Christians to do, is give up our Christianity to be more like them,
Or what the world would, because I think the world looks at what Christianity does, and it's like, oh, okay, be like you're pushing away the world, you're doing this. Like, no, you gotta embrace the world, because like, look at all the stuff we have.
Right.
Be like if
you look at it, mechanization is basically sin.
yeah, agreed.
The world wants us to sin. Granted, we sin because we're human beings. It's just as Christians, we hate that we do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're trying not to do it, but we do it anyway because we're humans, and we may stop sometimes, but other times it's just going to happen.
Yes.
Sadly. But the world is wanting us to embrace sin in the way that in this movie they're wanting, and pretty much he is wanting to embrace being mechanized and turned into things. And when he gets there, we find out he's going to be turned into what I believe our dub called a mechanized bolt.
Yeah.
He is literally going to be a bolt.
Yeah.
It's like, really? You couldn't have given him a nice robot body? You're going to make him into a giant bolt?
Hold things together.
That's like,
He's got a strong will, so we're gonna make him a bolt.
it's like, that's just wrong on so many levels. You could at least like let him have a robot body he could jump into when he's not needing to be a bolt. But yeah, they said as long as you can make it to the end of this rail line, you can get a free mechanized body.
But it doesn't show us what kind of body you're gonna get.
And here's a weird little way to think of it. Since we have friends who don't believe in free will,
Yeah.
he's going to have to give up his free will to do it.
Yeah.
If he were to do it, because he's just going to be a bolt. He can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
He does not have the will to strut around in that bolt body. He's just going to be screwed into the planet.
True.
Isn't that an interesting thought?
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I like that. Well, I don't think the Christian imagery I'm pulling into this is actually the creator's intention.
No.
I do find it interesting that it's still kind of there.
Yeah, agreed.
In a way.
Agreed.
And ironically, the people who are the pirates are more of the real people than the normal people.
Yeah, agreed.
They're more of the people who actually care for him. So yeah, that's what I first like, is that this is a quiet, thoughtful space fantasy.
Fair.
What's your second like?
My second like, I'm going to equate two films to the third act of this film.
Okay.
So we have the first and second act of this film. I kind of will relate those to Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
I can see the first part being that.
Boring and slow.
First off, I see why you say
Yeah,
that.
yes, I know where you're going with this.
Second off, the director's cut is much better.
Fair. So, I mean, like you have like the first, not the first half of this film.
Yeah.
Is very much in the same kin of Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Not a whole lot happens, but like you get little things here and there, and they build it out into the third act.
Well, it's literally 3 episodes is what it feels like. Feels like
Agreed.
3 episodes of a television show that was designed to last for over 100 episodes.
Yes. And my second comparison is the second Star Trek movie, Star
Wrath of
Trek:
Khan.
The Wrath of Khan, where you get this very slow and very methodical storytelling. You get to the third, like the back end of the second act, the third act, and it's like, oh, okay, this movie has come alive. Be like, yeah, the pace is picked up. It's like you said, be like, it's like they're adapting the script verbatim.
Yeah.
And you come into the third act where they've made this new story in order to merge,
Close the film out.
close the film
basically.
out, and you have this glorious ending. Well, I agree with you where Tetsuo, like, he defeats his objective, and then it's just like, okay, the movie's over. We could go from here. It's like, nope.
We got to go kill the queen.
Yeah. I mean, like, do you know, like, there's a little bit of me, like, I was like, the movie's over. Come on, shut it down. We're good enough. Nope, we got to keep going for another 20 minutes.
It even acts like it's about to end.
Exactly.
That's what threw me. It's like, I'm sitting there going, okay, yeah, this feels like we're finishing up, and he's avenged his mom, and now it's time to get back on the train and go to Earth instead of going to Andromeda.
They got to drag it out.
Like, nope, we still got to go to Andromeda because we got to kill mechanization. You cannot be assimilated. Resistance is futile. Or isn't futile. I said that wrong.
You did.
Resistance isn't futile. Moving on.
Yes, before you lose more of your nerd card.
I love how I said it so matter-of-factly, too.
You did. Yeah, it's just like this. The third act is from, like, because, like, you have the back end of the second act, where Captain Harlock, he shows up, and, like, just like, no joke, people, if you watch the film, it's like watching paint dry. It's that kind of film.
I'll put it this way: the first 2/3 of this film, I was on my phone while it was going, and I missed nothing.
Exactly.
I may have come back in and was like, wait, one of my dislikes just happened. But if I tell my dislike now, it'll spoil it. It's like, isn't that this other person? Because she looks just like this
her.
other person.
It does.
And you're realizing, no, that's somebody else. Like, literally, I thought, yeah, because by this time I'd figured out Maytel was not
Human.
I had figured out she was not the person she said she was.
Yeah.
And was kind of thinking, she's probably dangerous. And then, like, literally, I was thinking, you realize, Tetsuro, that Maytel killed your mother and is now wearing her skin. That's literally the thought that went through my head. They're never going to say this.
No, they're
but
not.
That's the thing. This has got to be what this is. Or somehow this is your mother who has been reborn who's secretly a robot and is in another one of her bodies, but she's not telling you this.
Yeah.
And she dyed her hair blonde before she came back to see you.
Yeah. Weird.
We'll get to that later. But
Yes, we will. So yeah, like
there was a couple of times where it's like, yes, I'm on my phone because this movie's so slow and I'm missing nothing except for I didn't know when they're going up against Count Mecha. I thought, is that Maytel or is that just the only character design he drew for women? We'll get to that.
There we go. So yes, the third act is a breath of fresh air. It brings breath into this film, and it makes the movie itself enjoyable. It brings like I said, a fresh air, a new
Breath of fresh air.
a breath of fresh air to this film that was slower than watching acrylic paint dry or oil paint dry. Takes a long time.
Where?
Yes. Anyways. Yes, that was my second like. The third act was nice.
Much improved.
Much improved. Be like, couldn't they just taken the original cut of this film, a 91 solid 91 minutes, and made it just no, we got to go back to this 165-minute episode. Anyways, I'm not embittered whatsoever.
what we're saying is the first 2/3 of this movie could have used another editing pass,
Yes.
which it got in America.
It did. But
Anyway.
then they reversed it. Anyways, that was my second like. What is your second?
My second like for this is the inclusion of Captain Harlock and Queen and Emeraldus and all these other characters who I had no idea going into this film read this thing.
Yeah.
Like literally, I am watching the movie and it's beginning. I was like, this is taking a long time to get going.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and because of the quality of the video I'm watching, it's like I can kind of make out who the people on these wanted posters are, and then that's Captain Harlock. Is this a Captain Harlock movie? Because I'd heard of Captain Harlock before. I've seen him on that character in different stuff. I knew he was this classic anime character, like Dragon Ball before Dragon Ball type of character. You know, it's that sort. It was that sort of franchise. I go, Captain Harlock's in this? I didn't know this was a Captain Harlock. And then the kid turns around and goes, "You're obviously Harlock's son." That's what I said out loud.
Yeah.
Because it looks like it could be.
Yeah, it's like
And I kept thinking,
Scar and everything.
I was like, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for you to reveal that is Harlock's son. They never reveal this. They never say if that's his son.
Exactly.
I had to do some looking. It's not his son because his mother never met Harlock. Not that you'd know that from the way anybody looks in this.
Exactly.
Oh. And it does not help that he's running around with that locket with the picture of his mother in it with Captain Harlock's skull and crossbones on it. I was like, you're Harlock. I know you're Harlock's kid. You are Toshiro Harlock. I know you are. Reveal yourself, film. No, that's not how it went. But I did like the fact that you included all these characters and it hinted that this is one story in a much bigger universe.
Yes, agreed.
So much sci-fi, it feels like this is the biggest thing. That is the only. Sometimes it feels like it's the only event that ever really happened in this universe that was a good thing. And this felt like no. There's tons of adventures. You don't need to know them right now. You don't even need to know it for this story. But we're gonna hint that there's these pirates out there that are going around and doing things, and that there's a connection between Maytel and Emeraldus that we're not going to tell you what it is. But we're going to hint at it, and it's not just because they look the same. We're not going to tell you about all these different things. We aren't even going to... We only going to hint at Captain Harlock until the best time to actually bring him into the story, and then he's going to kick some major tail. With milk.
With milk.
With milk. I don't know how you're going to draw that.
Oh, I have plans. I'm going to make it real simple.
But yeah, it's like you did such a good job with these characters. And it felt like, even though I had no idea who any of these characters were other than a passing knowledge and seeing their pictures on things and debating whether or not I'll watch this old anime, and then I never do. But the fact that it's like they show up and it's like, I feel like I know who all these characters are. I actually feel the nostalgia, despite the fact I have no nostalgia for this, but I kind of feel it in a weird way. It's like, oh, Captain Harlock is here and he's about to kick some tail. Who's Captain Harlock? No idea.
Exactly.
I have no idea who he is. He could be, I suspect he's a Han Solo character who's having to be a space pirate. Probably because the Machine Empire hates his guts.
Maybe.
Which is understandable considering the way this film works out. And considering, apparently, if what I understand, since Maytel and Emeraldus are twin sisters, that means she's also the daughter of Queen Promethea.
No idea.
And they're not going to talk about this because it's not important to the story.
Yes.
We'll hint, we'll show that there is history here. This is a big universe. This is a small story in a huge universe. And we're just going to let it be there. It's like, yeah, there's things that happen. We're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's not important. We're going to tell you just what you need to know in order to move the scene along, but that's all we're going to tell you. The whole thing with Tochiro, when we come up to him and he's doing that whole thing, and then just the storytelling between Tochiro's and Emeraldus's relationship.
Yeah.
It's like we never see them on screen throughout the
No.
film, except for the time he speaks to her while he's in the ship. While he
Yeah.
is the ship.
Is
That's
ship.
the only time we get to see that. And I was like, I felt like that. I didn't cry, but I was sad when he died. And I was like, I have no idea why I'm sad for you. I barely know you. Mm-hmm. You have done nothing really to endear me to this character, except I felt like this is a big death. Somehow, I don't know how I know this is a big death, but this is a big death.
Yeah.
And it's happening here and not in his main story? Okay. It makes me want to find out more. That's what this movie's best quality is. It makes me want to know more.
Okay.
So, what's your third like?
My third like, you pointed it out in your first, is where Toshiro, I'm saying that right?
Toshino?
Toshino. Yeah.
The kid or
the kid?
Yeah, I think it's Toshino. It's not Tostino, which is what I
No,
want to say.
yeah, exactly. That's what I keep thinking. He's like, no, he's not a chip.
Toshiro.
Toshiro.
Sorry.
Yeah, Toshiro. Or as in...
Sorry, I said it wrong again. Tetsuro.
Tetsuro.
It's T. We're going to call him T.
Yeah, Tetsuro. Or as in the ocean dub, Joey.
I'm sorry, you said Joey before you went into wrestling. I went to Yu-Gi-Oh! Hey, Yug, I'm about to go into space to get a mechanized body. Ain't that cool? But Joey, if you do that, you won't be able to play Duel Monsters anymore.
Maybe a little more effectively.
That's why you'd be banned.
Thank you, Dallas.
That's the only reason you get any of this.
Yes.
Hey, Yug, if we get sent, if we go get mechanized bodies, we won't get sent to the shadow dimension.
Oh my gosh.
Because we'll already be in the shadow dimension.
Oh my gosh.
Just go ask the robot with no face on Pluto.
That's so good. Thank you, Dallas. Oh my gosh. I know he's not. He's on the,
Dallas is not in chat.
no, he's not. But it was so grand.
But we know this is coming from because he got us to watch Dark Side of Dimension.
Yes, and got me to watch Yu-Gi-Oh a little bit. Oh my gosh, go back and listen to that episode. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh in the something dimension?
Dark Side of Dimensions.
Yeah, Dark Side of Dimension.
It's a weird title.
It's a
and it
weird
has
title. It's a
nothing
weird.
to do with-
No, it doesn't. So go listen to that. I can't remember. We listened to what
Oh,
a year,
it's
2
like
years,
season 3.
yeah, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
My gosh, but yeah, Tetsuro's his rejection, but like he embraces humanity because he sees how broken and disconnected those who have become mechanized. And like you say, your analogy of how with Christianity, how we embrace what Christ did for us and we reject the world. It's not a rejection of like the what's that group? It's a group of Christians that isolate themselves from the world.
The Esseans? Are you talking about the old ones or the ones that wrote the Black Sea Scrolls?
Dead Sea Scrolls?
Dead Sea Scrolls, not the Black Sea Scrolls.
Black Sea Scrolls. Someone's gonna make an anime out
I-
of that.
I meant Dead Sea Scrolls because
Yeah,
I was
excuse
about to make the joke that would inspire Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh no! I'm talking more like
Except they
the
had nothing to do with it.
yeah. It's more like American isolationist. Crap. What is it? They're
Amish?
Amish. That's what it is. Amish. Thank you.
That's not what I. They live without technology.
Yeah, they live without technology, but they are isolated from the rest of the world in a way.
Oh,
like
I say they don't use technology. They actually do have the internet.
They do.
and they have computers.
They do. Now.
They
yeah.
have ways of cheating the system to make it go, which sounds too much like the Pharisees. Is what I was trying to say.
I agree with you there. Also, there's other sects of.
Yes, there are other sects that are not as stringent as the ones we mostly know about.
Yeah, there's some. It's like, oh my gosh, be like, no wonder people start leaving you guys in flocks.
Anyway.
Either way, it's our main character's rejection of mechanization because he realizes it's a rejection of humanity, a rejection of his humanity in himself. And in the same way, it's like when we are in Christ, it's not where we're rejecting the world completely. Be like, we still live in this world. We have to go out and share what Christ calls us to do, is to make disciples of all nations and baptize them in the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's like we still live in this world, and where some people it's like, because be like, the world's so evil. It's like that's the whole reason to go out there. That's why a lot of the forefathers who went out and sacrificed their lives and gave up their lives in order to share the gospel with others. And when we live in a world that's so tempting that we have this temptation to be like the world, to reject Christ, to reject the church, because the world is too shiny, or it's be like the appeal is too much, where we got to remind ourselves where what Christ did for us on the cross, that he died, he willingly gave up his life for us in order for us to have eternal life through him to the Father. But when it's just like we have this, it is so hard not to be like, again, we have the sin nature. We have the sin nature that we struggle with every day, and we're not going to, as a person who, bless his heart, didn't understand what he was saying at the moment, that like once you're a Christian, you'll be like you never struggle with sin again, and like where in the world are you reading that? And bless his heart. But it's like it's when you are in Christ, you're free. You're free from the chains of sin. You're like, as the world no longer has a bound over you, and we like right now we're going through Matthew in a study, and we're talking about the Beatitudes, and that's all about humbling yourself to the point of submission to Christ. And the world hates the world submission, but it's just be like there's a humbleness and a peace about it. But like I'm not perfect in my faith at all. You can ask Drew, you can ask anybody else, that we are not perfect, but we're in this process called sanctification to become more and more like Christ. And we are going to stumble, we're going to fall, but we strive to be, or as one person told me once, is be like to do your best to be more and more like Christ every day. And again, be like, that's not of us, but it's what Christ moving through us. I said that. Anyways, so yeah, it's the idea that our main character, Joey, I'm going to call him Joey because I think it's funnier.
Hey, you.
Don't start. I'm going to kill over. That was too funny. Clip that. That was awesome.
You're a little late to be asking that now, but
Later. Anyways, yeah, I love that, our main protagonist is, he learns his valuable lesson that his humanity has value because he can feel and understand and have connection, where you're trapped within the confines of a metal body because you think it's going to make you better. It's not going to. And it's got that nice parallel. So I really enjoyed it, and I kind of borrowed off of yours when you said that. I was like, I can expound upon that. So yeah, my number 3 is our main character rejecting mechanization in order for humanity, in that same way that we reject the world and to obey Christ. So yeah.
My third and final like for this film, I like that it's a train movie. I don't know a better way to put it than that.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, it's not about the journey, it's about the stops. You really think about it, most of this story does not take place on the Galaxy Express.
No.
No. There are scenes, but they're short. if there is an event that does take place, it is like the only event I can think of that actually takes place on the train that I would consider major and plot relevant would be when the Queen Emeraldus shows up and Tetsuo shoots at it from a distance, and I'm sitting there going, "There's no way you're gonna hit that," and then she shows up and go, "Oh, you got her attention." But that's the only event that actually takes place on the train. When I say it's a train story,
Yes.
it's about going to all these different places and the adventure happening in these different spots. It's very kind of episodic because we get the adventure before he gets on the train where he meets up with Maytel and she gives him the pass and all that stuff. Then you get to Titan and you got the thing where he's got to go save Maytel from the bandits who aren't really bad guys. But they don't know that Tetsuo, or Joey as you called him,
Yes.
they don't know if he is. And then you have the story with they're on Pluto and they're seeing all the dead bodies of people who've given up mechanization, given up their bodies for so they can be mechanized. And then you've got the story that takes place on at Trader's Fork, and then the other one at Andromeda. You've got it's never the Galaxy Express 999 is what gets you there.
Yes.
It is the journey they took aboard this, but it's not about the journey, it's about the stops.
Yes.
And we don't get stuff like that anymore because this country has decided it doesn't like trains. I'm sorry, this is a bit of a high horse because as we all well know,
I like trains.
I'm still a little annoyed that passenger train travel is so hard to do in the United States.
Yeah.
And there's really no reason for it to be, even though I've done my research. I know exactly what it is, and it's the greediness of the corporate overlords who run the stupid train tracks. And if you don't believe me,
I believe you.
it is all about greed, and they're still being greedy, and they're actually destroying their own tracks by running such long trains on their tracks.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
You know,
As I said earlier,
I like trains.
well, I'm glad you've blown off some steam.
I'm not playing the clip again
Okay.
because I can't. That's more editing I would have to do to get just the part I wanted. But yeah, I like that it's a train film. The only other thing I can think of that's close to this would be like if you had a movie that took place on a boat going up the river, like that sort of thing, or a movie where you're on a sea voyage and you're making stops. Actually, Master and Commander: Far Side of the Far Side of the Earth. No, what is the full name of that film?
Which movie?
Master and Commander.
Oh, I have no idea.
You know what I'm talking
I know
about.
it's from the Russell Crowe movie. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
No, I have not.
I'm
I keep
Far
hearing-
Side of the World.
Far Side.
Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World is kind of this, but with ships.
Gotcha.
Except it's also about sailing on ships.
Gotcha.
You get right down to it. You could say that Polar Express is the same way because it also is about a train. Wish I had thought about this clip then too, but c'est la vie. But this is just felt like we're gonna take that idea of the journey is not as important as the stops you make along the way. We're going to have the adventure, the story take place at these stops, and you're going to learn about this, and then you get back on the train and go to the next one.
Yeah.
And the train is your moment to rest, to breathe. And I kind of like that because you don't get these kind of movies anymore. You don't get this. Granted, yeah, the pacing could use some work.
Yeah,
Do not get me
agreed.
wrong.
Agreed.
But the idea that you have this one place of safety in the train, except it's taking you where you really don't need to be going. But yeah, I like that it's a train movie
Yeah.
because we do not get that often anymore.
No, we don't.
You'd think we'd get more of it out of Japan because they love trains. Mm-hmm. But that is what it is. So now we're going to get to the part where we both are going to let off some steam.
Yeah.
Time to talk dislikes. Do we have one in common, maybe, that I may have brought up already? We want to go ahead and touch on first.
Go ahead.
About a certain character design
Yeah.
that shows up continuously.
Yeah.
Why does Leggy only have one character design for women? Granted, there are differences. Do not get me wrong. But they all have the same silhouette.
Yeah, that's where I was going
They all have the same silhouette. Yeah.
Yes.
The only real way you can tell Maytel, Emeraldus, Kyuji? Is that the name? Shadow, and Claire
Yeah.
apart is the fact that
Their hair colors
their hair color's different, or in the case of one of them, she's made out of crystal.
Yes.
Otherwise, she has the same features of everyone else. It's like, why is this the one character design you have for women, and all your men look like they belong in like an Astro Boy cartoon?
Okay, so I agree with you. I think this.
Don't get me wrong, I do like the art in this, but
Yeah.
it's very different for anime, and
Yeah.
I do wish we had more than one design for the women, because even the robot woman at the very beginning,
Yeah.
that he steals the card from,
Yeah.
I kept thinking, oh, we're already this is going to start off because he's stealing it from Maytel, and then I see the eyes go, Maytel wasn't a robot in the picture, was she?
No, she wasn't.
But yeah, it's like you have one design. Why do you only have one design? Even the old woman that he gives him the hat and the blaster, it just looks like an old version of that character.
Yeah. I did notice one character design. Now, grant it's a still shot. It is a couple of people, I think, in a bar. They're laughing, and it's a man and woman. The
Yeah.
woman is obviously designed unlike the others. But for the most part of the entire
That's
film,
probably just somebody at Toei who was given the job of designing background people and
Probably.
was basically given, here's basically what everyone looks like, and didn't know that every woman looked the same.
I would even go further. The fact to be like you have this like, again, this is the 1970s. This is the 1970s. You had this idea of the silhouette of a woman, this idea of perfection when it came to a woman. And so you had this idea that, or this notion, or this practice where a woman was this certain figure, and you could draw a ugly woman in this very grotesque and like, oh, I'm not attracted to her at all kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where here, like, there again, like, you draw very attractive women. Do not get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
and it makes sense but it feels like most of the reason that what makes sense with the characters, or why, at least with three of them,
Yeah.
why they look the same, feels like rationalizations. Because if you really think about it, Maytel and Emeraldus look the same because they're twin sisters.
Yeah.
Except Maytel is in a clone of his mother's body.
Yes.
Which technically means that Emeraldus is a clone of his mother too.
Or it's her and Emeraldus?
It's Emerald, basically.
Emerald.
Emerald us.
Emeraldus.
I keep wanting to say Esmeralda, and that's
Yeah.
what's throwing
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
It's Emeraldus.
Emeraldus. Be like, what if Emeraldus and Toshiro? I'm saying it right. His name? Joey?
Joey.
Yeah, Joey. We're calling him Joey now.
Hey, you.
Gosh. But be like, maybe like, Joey's mom is actually a princess, and like they just hunted her down. That would be interesting, but it's never explained.
At least not in this film. It could be in one of the others, because Tetsuo shows up in like a bunch of the other ones too.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, okay, if he is like descended from royalty,
Yeah.
you could still make his father Captain Harlock.
You could.
And it's like, because I still sitting there going, like that, because that first shot of him when they introduce the kid, I'm going, you're obviously a younger version of Captain Harlock. You are obviously his son.
Yeah.
Why aren't you his son?
And also be like, you can play into, it's like this idea of what is beauty, what is unattractiveness. And definitely when it comes to like a female character, because you can draw guys like any kind of shape and form or fashion, but you want again, do I agree with this? No, but when it comes to definitely like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, be like you wanted this very attractive, eye appealing character. Be like, and so you kind of stuck with this character design, and the way the designer drew in the 70s was very in sync with what designs were back then.
And I do want to point out that where we can tell that Leiji's art style is much more geared for, he's much better at mechanical designs than he is human designs.
Agreed. And it's like some artists have strengths than others, but to kind of get to the core of it is, and I'm not going to go with like sexism or anything like that, nothing like that, but it's this idea that like we got to make the woman look just this like a doll. A doll, be like something like just perfect, like, oh, she's beautiful, and it gives no leverage for creativity. So with all these beautiful, attractive characters, they all look alike. They're all clones of each other.
Basically.
Yeah.
In both in universe and in design.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, the only differences these characters have is at least Joey's mother looks sickly. So, and we only see her in flashback, except for her taxidermied body, which is just
disturbing.
I saw that and go, kill him! Kill him now! He is not deserving of redemption. Who is in reality? But but it's like, oh yeah, that Count Mecha just lost any amount of redemption points he had. But so yeah, that's my thing is I look at these character designs and yes, they explain it. They do have this thing there, but you're sitting there watching going, that doesn't explain Claire, that doesn't explain Shadow. I kept expecting those two characters going to pop up and say, yeah, this is not only is this a clone of his mother's body, but we went and based every female robot body after it because it's the most beautiful one. And I'm sitting there going, why was his mother this important? And yet she gets killed by a guy who's just hunting for sport and mounts it on the wall. And like, you're telling me nobody ever talked about it's like, oh, that's the basis for every female mechanized body.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to do this where everyone has the same silhouette, and the only way you can tell them apart is clothing, what they're made out of, and hair color, you need to, and you give enough explanation, you need to be like really thinking, okay, so if they're all based off this one thing, why was this one woman considered, or why wasn't she better taken care of, or how did she escape and get in this position? Granted, like I said, one of the things this movie does, and part of it that does well, is making me want to know more.
Fair.
And get into this universe, and we're not going to explain stuff that doesn't need to be explained for this story to take place, because this is not about Joey's mother, it's about Joey.
Yeah.
I get that. And maybe that will be revealed in another film, maybe it's revealed in the cartoon and they just did not have time to do it here.
Fair.
I don't know. I keep saying the anime, that's really what I should be saying, but it's in that era where it's like there's no difference between cartoon and anime. But yeah, I dislike the fact that all the characters have the same design and almost seemingly for paper thin reasons.
Yeah, agreed.
So,
and here's another part. So you have Joey, our main character. We're just going to call him Joey.
Because we gave up calling him Tetsuro.
Tetsuro. Be like, yeah, he's Joey. He's Joey in our eyes. But be like, you have this idea, be like, Joey, be like, loves his mother so much. And then you have this mysterious blonde woman with a fur coat shows up and he falls in love with her and he's 12 years old.
Yes.
And so like everybody's in love with Joey. Everybody is in love with this kid. Like every attractive character, every attractive female character is attracted to Joey, this little 12-year-old. It's just the weirdest thing ever.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
The Phantom Menace. Anakin Skywalker.
Okay, explain that.
I want you to picture Joey and Maytel talking to each other, and
Okay.
Joey says, "Are you an angel?"
Yeah, I can see that.
And yet everyone is Padme in this scenario.
You're not kidding. You're
And
not
this
kidding.
kid, and this kid is 12 years old.
Yeah.
And he's already hitting on a much older woman.
Well, yeah.
'Cause let's face it, that's what Anakin was doing when he asked if she was an angel. He just didn't know it yet.
Yeah, that's true. But it's that same way. Be like all the cute and attractive female characters like Joey and all the guys are like, yeah, he's the best guy ever. Like it's got this plot convenience of like, oh, everybody likes Joey.
There's a word. There's a word for this, a name
Yes.
for what this character is. And since it's a male, we have to use the male variant.
Okay.
This is a Gary Stu.
Yeah, you're not kidding. He's a Gary Stu.
He's a Gary Stu.
You're not
And yet,
kidding.
He's not a fan character.
No, he's not. He's
Yeah, this is basically a Gary Stu.
Yeah.
Which is the male form of a Mary
Stu.
Sue.
Yeah, Gary
which
Stu.
is this character who can do no wrong and everybody loves and is the
There
most
you go.
interesting character
There we go.
in
You
the
brought-
whole thing. And everyone just falls in love with him. That's kind of what this kid is, except it kind of works here because
It does.
It doesn't make me mad. It's only coming up because we have to talk about stuff we don't like.
So here's the
least
title.
for me, anyway.
Here's the title of the movie. Everybody falls in love with Joey Stu. I'm just saying.
That doesn't fall off the tongue, so I may not use that. But I'll come up with something.
Arr. All right, fine. If you don't like my idea, fine then.
I was thinking of something with Captain Harlock, if I'm being
Okay,
honest.
fine. That's fine. I thought it was clever.
It's a little wordy. But either way.
Either way. Or Joey Stu cannot do wrong.
Require it's not my problem with it is just to look into my thought process when making subtitle names for this thing. It requires too much explanation. If this was a more well-known movie
Yeah.
and people knew why we were calling this kid Joey or Joey Stu, I could go with it.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's like, that's not. It's clever, but it's too obscure.
Fair enough.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, so yeah. Oh yeah, that was our
fly me to Andromeda.
yeah, that was actually our number one was actually like the female character designs.
Yeah.
That
So
kind
yeah,
of,
what is? And you're on your second dislike.
yeah.
right
What is
now,
what is
so
my second dislike? So I'm shifting
besides
things
Gary
over.
Stu?
Yeah, Gary Stu. That'll
Hey,
come back.
you.
Oh heck, I'll do that now. I will do that now. Gary Stu, the crap out of this movie. Oh my gosh, Joey. Oh my gosh. Like it's like
Tetsuro.
yeah, Tetsuro. Whatever. Tetsuro, Joey. I'm calling him Joey because it's funnier.
Hey, you.
Hey, Joey. Hey,
If you get your
Yugi.
body mechanized, you'll get sent to the shadow dimension.
That's another good one. Anyways, you're like you have Joey Tetsuro.
Joey.
Joey, no, go Joey.
I keep wanting to call him Toshino, okay?
Oh, oh my god. Oh my gosh, but Joey, oh my gosh, he has such like plot convenience for everything. He shows up. This just happens. This just happens. This just happens. Like, everybody just like, oh yeah, Joey shows up. Oh yeah, let's give him this gun. Hey, let's give him this cap. Hey, be like, hey, this character just falls in line. Hey, we love Joey. Hey, this, and be like, oh, the blonde haired chick actually likes Joey. Wants to hang out with Joey. Everybody loves Joey. Our main villain. Oh my gosh. This be like we get this big bad thing. Be like, oh yeah, don't do this in front of him. Don't do this. Don't do this. We get this nice confrontation, and it's like Joey just shoot, bang, and then the his assistant. Oh no, I like Joey. I'm gonna keep this up. Bang, end the story. Not really, But then it's, oh yeah, plot convenience here and here and here and here. Oh my gosh, Joey's got plot armor. And everything. Like, this kid really has nothing to do except just walk into a scene. Everything is laid out in front of him, like Jesus when he coming into Jerusalem, like laying down all the palm leaves for him, be like, the king is here, or Joey's here, Joey's here. And it's just this, like every single little thing, it's like everything is laid out in front of Joey. He really has nothing to do except be like, he has to shoot a gun, which he was gifted, which is like the most powerful gun in the universe, except when he's on a cold planet for some reason. And then it's just like, it's just plot convenience, tribes, everything. Like Joey just can't do nothing wrong. And it just like drove me freaking nuts.
Yeah, admittedly, the only trouble this kid had was in stealing that pass to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. And that was fairly easy.
And then it's like, I'll give you this pass if you let me come with you.
What?
Why do you?
Like, that is not a bargaining chip, kid.
It's like, you were coming anyway, weren't you?
Yeah, be like, yeah, plot convenience. Like, oh, he runs into, what's her name? The blonde-haired woman with the coat?
Emeraldus?
Oh,
no, Maytel.
No. Maytel. Yeah, he just happens to run into Maytel while he's running from the police.
That I don't falter, because you see that happen in lots of films.
Yeah.
Where it runs into the one person who can
Oh
actually
yeah,
help him,
I agree. I
drops
agree with
the
you.
trinket that makes her go, I ought to follow this kid.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a conceivable thing to do.
Yeah.
Granted, I can accept that plot convenience at the very beginning, because I don't really see that as plot convenience.
It's not really plot convenience,
when
but
you
it
hit
leads
that
in.
plot convenience that you're describing the first time is we get to Titan.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, hi, we just arrived. We're going to shoot you, and then we're going to steal her. And guess what, kid? Now it's your time to go be the hero. You're 12 years old. You're not going to be the hero, kid. You shouldn't be the hero, kid. But you're the kid everyone's got to look up to, because this is, in a way, a kid's movie.
It is a kid's movie.
It's meant to be the kid's the hero and is going to save the day.
But the kid literally just shows up, and everybody else kind of works around him. And the plot kind of just convenient for him.
There's a lot of convenience. I don't really have the issue with it you have.
Yes.
But I will admit, this may just be an older style of writing, and that's kind of why I don't. It doesn't bug me any.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, yeah, you could make the same claim about Frodo with the ring in Lord of the Rings.
You could.
You could make the same claim about the Pevensey kids in Narnia.
Yeah, agreed.
So this is not a thing that bugs me, because it's just like, granted, there's just a lot of things that it hits. Honestly, I was thinking about it earlier. It's like, I called it space fantasy. Mm-hmm. This is really a space fairy tale.
Agreed.
Except the only trouble this kid ever really faces is the temptation to give up his humanity. Everything else, like, he has no issue with. He gets beat up at some point because he has enemies, but they were going to beat him up anyway. So it's like, there's nothing he could have done really to stop it. And he just...
Then Harlock just shows up out of nowhere.
But that's that cool moment.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you.
Right.
I agree with you. I'd be like, yeah, there are certain moments where it's just Joey. He just kind of be like, he has to kind of work for it, but then the plot kind of just slides in and makes it so convenient for him.
And I will throw this in that part of the reason I think the writing is that way, and it feels worse than I think it was meant to.
Yes.
As we stated, the first 2/3 of this feel like 3 episodes that they stitched together, which, had to wrap up in 30 minutes. Because that's just how you wrote television back then. So, there's a little bit of plot convenience, so everything wraps up and we can move on to the next stop in the next episode. It gets better once we get past that point, and that's when we start having more fun with bringing in the other characters from the other parts of the universe and doing other things. Yes, you've got that plot convenience where everything just coincidentally lines up perfect for this kid to not only learn he doesn't want a mechanized body, but he needs to somehow be the one to take out mechanization so that so he can save the day. And to some degree, I don't have a problem with how it is. It's just I get why it bugs you.
Yeah. It's again, it's a nitpick when it comes to it's a nitpick that it's like, okay, let's drive this home.
It's just I think it's just a product of the constraints they were in, since they did not write a fully original film.
Agreed.
Adapting the source material, they saved a little bit of money by using scripts from the television show, and maybe even I don't know. I haven't looked at the television show. I also wouldn't be surprised if they reused animation and edited it together, because I know a lot of movies back then just did that in anime. If they were tie-ins to the television show.
He-Man and Masters Universe.
I'm thinking Gundam, for crying out loud.
Yeah, Gundam
The
did
original
that.
Gundam show, the first the three movies are just that are adaptations of the show. Literally are edits of the show.
I agree. What I'm thinking of is like He-Man and She-Ra Secret of the Sword.
Yeah.
It's the first 3 to 4 episodes of She-Ra, but they cut in like little different scenes to make it slightly different.
Yeah.
But overall, it's the first 3 to 4 episodes of She-Ra. Made into a movie.
Yeah. But that's not the first time.
No.
Even that wasn't the first time we did that.
No,
Because
no.
the Batman Superman movie we reviewed, like literally we had to watch the only way we could watch that was to watch 3 episodes of the television show of Superman, because that's the only way HBO Max
Yeah.
kept it.
Agreed.
Or was it 4? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's 3 or 4.
It's still better than Batman versus Superman. Dawn of Justice. Just saying.
Yeah, agreed.
It's the same basic plot, and
There-
it's done so much better.
There's one of these films that they came out years ago, and it brings back the original 2 voice actors of Batman and Superman from the TV show,
Yes.
and it's done so well. We're gonna have to review that at some point, because
Okay.
it's good, and its follow up is even better. Just saying.
So,
Yes.
that was the end of my second dislike.
Okay. So third dislike.
Wait, did I give a second dislike?
No, I think you
No,
just,
that was the end of your second dislike.
yeah. Well,
'cause
you just ran into mine.
yeah. My second dislike for this is actually the fact that the first 2/3 of this film were cost-cutting measures by taking what I'm guessing they did this. I don't actually know, because I haven't gone back and watched the show yet, but it just feels like at the very least they cut the scripts from the first couple of things from 3 random episodes, changed up maybe some dialogue and scenes so that they more better flowed into each other.
Yeah.
But it still feels like you got this episode, you got a second episode, you got a third episode, and then the fourth, and then you have a 4th and 5th episode that were written for the film.
Yeah.
It really is a very episodically written show,
Agreed.
movie. And that kind of bugs me, because I didn't come into this to watch 5 episodes of a television show edited into a film. I came to watch a film. I was expecting a newly animated, fresh adaptation of this story. Not, we're going to edit things together. So when I was doing some reading on this, the way they explained it was the first bit follows episodes, adapts episodes of the manga and anime with an original story to tie it off. And I'm thinking, you know what that sounds like? Dragon Ball Curse of the Blood Rubies.
Yeah.
It is based on the first story arc of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
It's entirely different and newly animated.
Yeah.
There is the only reused animation in the whole movie is the fact that they used the opening sequence at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Which was already animated pretty nicely. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they animated it for that and then used it in the TV show. But this is like they went cheaper by just taking these 3 episodes, writing 2 more, cramming them together, saying, here's your movie, it adapts the story, let's we're gonna make a buttload of money at the theater, let's go home.
Yeah, agreed.
I wish it was a fully not necessarily a fully original story. I don't want some side story necessarily, but if you're going to adapt a manga or anime that you just got done adapting, admittedly maybe not do that. But at the same time, if that's what you're going to do, animate it from scratch.
Agreed.
Give me a whole new adventure. Granted, yeah, maybe as much as the fact that we only have one character design for women, that bugs me. If you're gonna do that, just kind of make it all fit. It's part of, and really, I still think part of the reason why Harlock and Emeraldus and all them don't show up to the last 2/3 of it is because they didn't show up. I'm guessing they didn't show up in the anime.
Probably not.
And this is like, okay, we're running it. Let's go ahead and include these other characters because we know they're fun, and we'll include their wanted posters at the beginning, so we are technically teasing them. Kind of just wish we'd have had it makes it really feel like I said, like I'm watching 5 episodes instead of watching a movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I wanted to watch a movie, guys, not 5 episodes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my second dislike, is the fact that it feels like I'm watching 5 episodes instead of a movie.
Fair.
What's your third dislike?
Third dislike. So with most of the film, be like, okay, so this is built within a universe, correct? So
It's lightly connected, but yes.
it's slightly connected, but at the same time, you're supposed to know all these characters going into the film, right?
No, I don't think you need to.
Okay.
Because I didn't know who most of these characters. I knew of some of these characters.
Yeah.
But I don't know these characters. I don't know why all of them do everything they do.
Right.
But I can understand why, if you didn't know these characters and they do make a big deal out of a couple of them, why that would bug you and why you feel
Yeah.
like you're missing information.
Yeah, exactly. Because I am missing information with this.
Yeah.
So I look at, so let's say hypothetically, because I know you haven't seen Gundam Wing.
I haven't seen any of the rest of the stuff these characters are in. So
Okay. So
yeah, Gundam Wing.
So for that example, so say I wanted to review Gundam Wing Endless Waltz, and we're not going to review the rest. We're not going to review the 30-something episodes from Gundam Wing. So be like, you would walk into it. Okay, I understand who this character is, and understand who this character.
There's a better one you could go with.
What would that be?
And much more recent, much more on our minds. If we'd have just jumped into the end of Evangelion without going through the show.
Yeah, completely.
Because I wouldn't have had an idea of who anybody was.
I agree with you.
We could if we were still on the pre-TAS format, we could not have reviewed End of Evangelion.
No,
The only reason
I would know. You
would
wouldn't.
know. I wouldn't. And honestly, I don't think it would have been fair to our audience.
Yeah,
To have
agreed.
done it to have reviewed the movie without reviewing the show.
Agreed.
But anyway, continue with what you're saying.
Yeah, it's one of those where if you don't have the information in front of you, like it's like, again, like watching Gundam Wing and be like, I know, because I've watched Gundam Wing like 3 times. So I know what these characters are. I know who they are. Because like in one scene for Gundam Wing Endless Waltz, this one character who just shows up and it's just like, who the crap is this character? I have no idea who she is. Be like, I know who she is because she's in the series at the very latter part of it. And like, she's a big deal. And all she shows up in is this one scene and she's helping deliver stuff. And it's just like, oh, because you would be like, who the crap is this character? I'd be like, oh, she did this and this and this in Gundam Wing. And it's like, okay, I don't get it. So in the same way,
Yeah.
be like, I'm watching this film, like, okay, I'm getting what's going on, but I don't get the connection with these characters to these characters. So there's some information that's missing.
I have an example of where they do what you're describing, what this movie does, but do it in a way that works for you.
Okay.
And I know it worked for you because you didn't have a problem when we watched the film.
Okay, what was that?
Lupin the Third.
Okay. But I knew of Lupin.
You knew of Lupin.
Yeah,
Did
I
you know of
I
the
knew
other characters?
Yes, I knew of it.
Did you know who Goemon Ishikawa the 13th was before he showed up on screen to do the one thing he did in the film?
No.
He's a major character in the franchise.
Okay.
You don't know who he is. You don't know why he's there. You don't know the importance of I want to say My Valentine. That is not her name. that's Cowboy Bebop.
Yes. Wrong show. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I cannot think of her name.
Yes.
She's
The Thorn and
the
Luke's-
Bond girl of the show.
Yes.
She's every Bond girl of the show.
Fair. Yeah.
Fujiko.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I knew who Fujiko
Yeah.
was.
But here's the
I've
thing.
seen a little bit of
before I watched the film.
Yeah.
Granted, outside of a couple episodes of the original show, do you know how much Lupin the Third I've watched?
Very little.
2 movies.
2 movies.
And we both reviewed both of them.
That's
I
true.
have seen Castle of Cagliostro, and I've seen the first.
Yes.
I know most of what I know about these characters is because I've done some reading, and I know kind of who some of these characters are based
Right.
off of that have actual connections to either literary or literary figures or figures of legend.
Yes.
I know who these connections are. I kind of know what's going on. At the same time, those things were written in such a way where you didn't need to know any information.
I agree. I agree.
This, I think, also was trying to do that.
I agree.
You didn't need to know who Harlock was
Yeah.
or anyone else. They actually, I thought, did a good explanation of here's a very big space pirate.
Yeah.
And he's and the idea, it really felt like he's a good guy having to be the bad guy or seeming like the bad guy to strike fear in the hearts of his enemies because his enemies have put on the cloak of righteousness when they are not.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I get from Harlock.
Yeah.
I don't know the character. For all I know, he's the biggest, evilest jerk in the movies. And he's not this cool guy that this movie showed off. I don't know who the guy was that died and got turned into a ship.
Yeah.
If I'd have watched the thing, sure, I may know his, but I got the feeling it's like, this is a guy who obviously he also was chasing Count Mecha like
I agree.
Joey is.
Yeah.
And he's and it's kind of that nice thing. And he is having to die here at the end, but he got a friend in Harlock, and he's now going to get to spend the rest of his days with Harlock with his brain transferred into the ship.
Yeah.
The only character that I really feel like we lost something in this adaptation because they don't explain it is Emeraldus.
Yeah.
Because I only know she's the twin sister of Maytel because I looked at the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I know it's because the movie doesn't show it. Now, granted, it's not important information for this film.
Right.
It's just the only explanation we have why they look the same.
Yeah.
And because the only reason she's here is because she's in love with the guy that got turned into the ship.
Yeah.
And now she is helping Joey because Joey helped her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And because Joey's a cool dude and everyone likes Joey.
Yeah.
Yay, Joey. Hey, Hugh. He's you know why Joey with all his plot conveniences doesn't bother me. He's a shonen protagonist. Everything good happens to them.
Fair. I agree.
Nothing, even the bad stuff that happened to Goku was good for him. So
Yeah, even though
it's
he's
just like this. So and
Even
he was
though-
able to make everybody he ran into like him. Think about how many enemies Goku made into friends over the years.
Agreed.
So
Agreed. And I mean, like, I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like.
I'm sorry to jump back on that. It's just the thought crossed my mind.
Yes. There's also you can pick up context of what's going on in the film.
Yeah.
And you understand who the character is. But when you don't have like that deep understanding of who the character is and why this character is so important, be like there's a little bit of context that's lost. So be like, and the context of what they're given in the film makes sense. But when you don't have the entire context of like maybe the TV show or other movies or something like that, there is a little bit lost. So you don't know exactly who this character is.
I don't consider that a negative.
Okay.
Think about it.
And again, it's a nitpick.
You like Star Trek movies.
Yes.
You've not watched a lot of the shows. You've
No.
watched some, but you've not watched a lot of them.
Yes.
When you saw Star Trek First Contact the first time,
Yeah.
I'm using this as the example
Yeah.
because I know this film and the backstory and all that. Did you have any idea what was so important about Picard and his relationship with the Borg?
Yeah.
Did you know going into it?
Yes, I knew that.
Dang it, you're screwing up my example.
You're welcome.
That was one that I hit the one thing you actually knew. But think about it.
My cousin Brian wouldn't shut up about it.
Better example.
Okay.
Wrath of Khan.
Okay. Yeah.
Had you seen Space Seed before
No.
I asked the question? Had you seen Space Seed before you saw Wrath of Khan?
No.
Guess what? I hadn't either. I didn't see Space Seed until I was in my 20s.
Really?
Yes, because it never came on television.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I didn't get it until I actually owned that Blu-ray over there. And that was when I think I actually caught when the thing went to the special editions and they were rebroadcasting every episode. I think I caught it then.
Okay.
But really, I didn't see it till I got that Blu-ray over there.
Yeah.
And stuck it in and watched the episode myself.
Yeah.
I didn't know who Khan was. I learned enough about Khan through the context of the movie.
Exactly.
And it was but I missed all I didn't know about his wife. I had never met his wife.
Yeah.
Because his wife was in Space Seed. I never understood that this was a woman he should not have loved because she did not have genetic superiority and he fell in love with her anyway.
yeah.
I didn't get that from the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't get that till the show. But you know what? It didn't matter at the time. It adds things. It deepens
it does.
connections.
I agree.
And I think that's what's going on here. Neither one of us know who any of these characters are outside of a passing
Exactly.
connection. If you know who they are, you do get probably a more full understanding of what's going on in these scenes. But I can tell you, as someone who doesn't know who these characters are,
Yeah.
I get enough for the scene to actually make sense.
Yeah, I agree. I
So
agree.
yeah, I
with you.
get why it's a nitpick for you.
Yeah.
But it is a mighty small nit you're picking.
I agree. It's a
It's a micro nit.
It's a micro bit. Knit.
So yeah.
It's a flea.
Anyway, third dislikes.
I think that was it.
Oh.
That was my
I
third.
thought you jumped back to second after I
No.
jumped into it.
No, no,
Sorry.
no.
Sorry.
No. Be like, I had to go back because we jumped on one.
Yeah,
and
we-
two,
and because this became more discussion
Yeah,
than
it
actually
became
hitting
discussion.
points.
I had to rewrite it. And it's like, oh
Sorry.
yes, that was a little bit of be like, you don't have the context of like who these characters are, the deep understanding of who they are, and it was like that was a like minor nitpick, and I was like, oh, okay, but again, great examples all around.
Okay.
Yeah, but thankfully they don't stop being like, oh, this character is from this and this and this, and explain. Oh, like over exaggerate.
We didn't get the, as you know, Captain Harlock is this great space pirate
Yeah.
who did such and such and such and such. We didn't get that because we didn't need that.
Exactly.
We were told just enough for Harlock to make. We knew enough about Harlock for this movie to make sense. We knew he was a great space pirate that the kids of Earth loved.
Yes.
Especially the ones that felt like they weren't part of society.
Yes.
Because they didn't have mechanical bodies. Still, the mechanical body thing is weird.
It is weird.
My third dislike. My third dislike here, I don't know a way of explaining this where it doesn't sound like I'm being pedantic. Remember what I said last week about the city of Hill Valley seeming to have a space fluctuation of some kind because this town seemed to grow and shrink as the plot needed it?
Okay.
Kind of feel like the solar system has the same problem.
Agreed. It's just,
Granted, I understand we don't have really a journey to Titan that is necessary for the plot.
yeah,
But we got to Titan in what, a night?
something like that.
And then you had to stay there for 16 days. And I can kind of work with that. I can kind of work with the idea. It's like, okay, there is a journey going on here. It's taking longer than what we're showing on screen. And I can even extend that to the shots in space where they're going to each of the things. I can see this whole movie taking place over the course of a year.
yeah,
Which is how long it's supposed to take. It's how often the Galaxy Express comes and goes from Earth, returns to Earth.
Yeah.
Is every year. But man, does it seem like once we hit this tunnel and get to the new parts of the story, that Andromeda and Trader's Fork seem to be right next to each other. It's not exactly understanding where either of these two places are. And it's still very much it still feels like it's an overnight thing. I'm not saying I need them to say 4 days later or 5 days later or a month later or something. I'm just saying because of the way this film is cut, I don't understand. Even though it's supposed to take place over the course of a year, it feels like it took the place over the course of a month. And I still don't know, outside of the fact that she looks like his mother, why he's basically in love with Maytel at the end of this.
Yeah.
And I
agree
really don't understand. Actually, I know I was talking about the space issue. I'm going to jump to something different that I think is a bigger problem.
Okay.
Maytel is a boring character.
Yeah, she is a boring character. I agree.
She is the poster of the. She is the main poster character of this thing. She's the one. She's the person on the box art. She's the main connection we have to all this. And yes, they are trying to keep her a mystery. I get that, because they don't want, at least for the movie, in the movie version, they don't want to reveal who she is and what she was doing this whole time.
Agreed.
And I understand that. And I get that she's a stoic character, and so she's not going to show a lot of emotions. But the first thing that made me think this character is mechanized is the fact that she has no emotions whatsoever. Seemingly, she's got them, but they're so low. A Vulcan would say she was holding back.
That's a good one.
Because she's like, I guess like she's technically part robot. She's probably been a robot her whole life, or from a very young age, to where her thought processes have been shaped by this, and yet she does still have the capacity to love, unlike Count Mecha. And it hasn't lost her humanity, because I'm assuming because of her father, who's now a pendant.
There's a pendant, and that's never really explained.
I can kind of go with that. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I was hiding this whole time, and you only heard my voice for 5 seconds. It's like, you could have done more to.
Yeah.
If they would have had her talking into the pendant more,
Yeah, agreed.
they could have deepened this mystery. Like, who are you talking to over there? Is that a communicator? What's going on? And the fact of the matter is, she is supposed to be she's supposed to be not the primary protagonist, but a secondary protagonist.
Yeah.
We're supposed to care for this character to the point where we actually feel her. We understand why she's split between.
Yes.
Do I stay on my mother's side, or do I do what my dad says and destroy everything? We don't even get the feeling. She doesn't really show any emotion that she's even being duplicitous.
Yes.
And that it's even affecting her until right before they get to Planet Maytel. Right before they get to Andromeda. And I'm going, I'm supposed to like you as a character, right? I still don't know what your motivation is, even superficially.
Agreed.
And I just wish we got more the character of Maytel feels just so two-dimensional. Joey at least is a three-dimensional character.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got a journey he's going on where he at first wants the mechanized body and then learns, I don't want a mechanized body. I want to destroy mechanization in general, because nobody should be suckered into that. And he's got this love for his mom that's transferred to some of these other people. He's a good guy. He's three-dimensional. He's not very three-dimensional, but he's three-dimensional in a way I can accept for this movie.
Yes.
She's so two-dimensional, she's nearly one-dimensional.
Yeah, agreed.
And she's
a one-note character.
She's not, and the thing is, she's not just a major character for this film. She's a major character for this universe. She's supposed to be on par with Captain Harlock.
Really?
And Emeraldus.
Amaryllis.
Because she shows up in a lot of, she's one of the characters that shows up randomly in all these different things. Because she's the princess of the villain. She's the daughter of the villain. She's obviously a major character.
Yes.
And she's so one-dimensional. I can't even blame the voice actress for this. And with all the roles she's doing, and maybe didn't get enough time to do this, because I really feel the problems in the writing.
Agreed.
And now, like I said, obviously this movie took a shortcut in the writing department.
Agreed.
Which is kind of why I want to check out the show and see if, with 100 episodes of story going on if the character of Maytel actually becomes a more interesting character, if they're able to give her more character development, or if she just is one note throughout the whole frickin' thing until however that one ends.
Agreed.
But yeah, in this, the character of Maytel, like I said, I'm only talking about this one film. If there are any fanboys who want to roast me, I'm not talking about her as in general. I'm talking about how she's presented in this one single film.
Yes.
She's presented as one note, and I I don't feel for her in any way, shape, or form. And it bugs me that she's on the cover of this thing because she's obviously not very well developed in this movie. She may be well developed in the show, and maybe between the development of the show and her development in the other parts of the manga, or the different mangas, maybe that's why they didn't focus on it here, because they would think, like you were saying earlier, maybe people will know who this is, and if I knew who Maytel was, I could read more into the acting and the writing of this than I can right now. But as Stan Lee once famously said, every comic is somebody's first. You did such a good job with explaining all these characters who are not even major characters, where, dude, I wouldn't say I was crying, but I was like disappointed that Antares died.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy's barely in the film. I like the guy.
Yeah.
If Maytel died, I realized I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
She's the secondary protagonist of the movie, and I would not have cared if she died. That's a problem.
Yeah. Agreed.
So yeah, my third and final dislike for this film is that Maytel's is a one-note character.
Agreed.
So
What are
we rating this film?
Yeah. What do you rate it?
What are you rating it?
What are you rating?
What are you rating?
What are you rating it?
You don't want to rate it without knowing what I...
No. I want to hear yours first. Honestly,
7.
I have. Okay.
I'm giving it a 7. I don't consider 7 a bad rating.
Okay.
It's serviceable. There's stuff there. Like I said, what this movie's greatest strength is, for me anyway, is that it made me want to watch the show.
Okay.
Because obviously the movie doesn't have enough information in it
Exactly.
for me to really get connected to these characters. But the show is out there. It's on Tubi. I can go watch it right now. There's 100 and some odd episodes of story there detailing Joey's journey on the Galaxy Express 39. And I am actually curious to see what that full journey is, because honestly, this movie didn't show it very well.
Agreed.
So yeah, I'm giving it a 7 because it's got so much potential, and it did make me want to go invest more in the universe, because it was just a nice, quiet thing. But at the same time, as a single solitary film, it does not hold itself up very well, in my opinion.
Fair.
What is your rating for this?
My rating is, I'd be like, mine's 7. Be like, it's an intriguing film. Would I want to go and invest that much time to go understand? I'd be like,
I'm not immediately going to watch all 100 and some odd episodes.
Yes.
I'm planning on trying a couple, and if it holds me, I'll keep going.
Yeah. So be like, with the context we're given, it's okay. Be like, I understand what's going on. It's not one of these films that's like, oh, okay, you have to be like, be like, they're not giving you names of characters or this or this. It's not one of these. They expect you to know the character's name. In some cases, they somebody don't. But it gives you just enough information to, okay, I'm following along. I'm tracking what's going on. I may not know the character's full story, but I'm enjoying what's going on. The first half of this film is boring as all out, but they're planning little things here and there because they conclude it at the very end. So I feel like it's a serviceable film. So yeah, 7.
Next week, our good buddy Nate Marchand is making a return
Yay!
to watch a film that I told Jacob to go see while it was still in theaters.
I was having issues at that point.
With what? You had already asked Ashley to marry you, and it was not time for the wedding yet.
Oh, right. Never mind. I'm gonna.
I'm just asking. This was December.
That's
You
right.
just didn't get to the theater.
I didn't get to the theater at all.
Because I went and saw it by myself. I didn't drag you. But yeah, I'm finally getting Jacob to see Godzilla Minus One, which just released on Netflix last freaking week. Shadow dropped. And like immediately my first thing was, hey, Nate, I know we were planning this possibility of a thing, which is now still up in the air. Because, by the way, the third patron pick has been pushed back to after the hiatus.
Nice.
Fair warning, folks. But it's because it was originally going to be next week. -1 came out and we said, hey, Nate, instead of this, instead of what you were planning on doing, what if we do this instead? Because you already had an invite when this came out. And literally, when it was being announced, it's like, oh, this is going to be on Amazon. Oh, this is going to be on Vudu or something. We didn't know where it was going to come out. And then finally someone said, I think it's on Netflix. And I say that because it's already out on Netflix everywhere in other parts of the world. I was like, it's on Netflix? Of all places?
Yeah.
But then a lot of Godzilla stuff's come out on Netflix recently, so I don't know why I find that confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Godzilla -1 next week.
Yeah, he's not excited at all, people. No, and Nate Marchand's not excited either.
Nate Marchand and me are on the same level of this was an amazing film, even before you consider Godzilla. Mm-hmm. I'm not kidding. Godzilla is the icing on this cake. I'm not trying to oversell it either.
No. I'm not, downplaying what you're saying. I completely agree with you. I'll be like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to watch the film. It's got an English dub, right?
It does have an English dub, which we didn't know about until it dropped.
Yeah. So it has an English dub. So thankfully for me, be like, I'm not following text and I'm getting lost. But it's going to be so interesting watching you two who have a love for.
We've already geeked out about it once, and we're getting to geek out about it again.
Yeah, this a kaiju movie that is so big and so huge as Godzilla -1, and it's gonna be fun watching you two. You're like, oh my gosh, they made references there, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and be like, oh, this was a good film. This was fun. Be like, I really wish I would have went to the theaters. At some point, I mean, like, I remember at one point you were going to the theater. It's like, hey, can I tag along? But I think I had something come up.
I would have said, get in the truck. If I had thought I could get you there, I'd have gotten you there. If I'd have thought about it, even though you hate black and white,
Whoa, wait a minute.
You hated black and white.
Hated black when I was a child.
Right, but it's still fun to pick on you about it. When Godzilla -1 Color hit the theater, which I never got to see,
Yeah.
just because of timing, and it was only out for a week.
Yeah.
Should have been out for longer. I would have dragged you to that one too if I'd have thought about it. But it's just our schedule in December was garbage.
Yeah, it was nuts.
We just barely got stuff done as it was.
That is true.
Going to see if we wouldn't have been able to react to anything that month anyway.
That
There
is
was
true.
stuff that we could have reacted to.
Yeah.
Because Wish came out then.
Yeah, Wish came out.
And then Boy and the Heron.
Yeah.
Things we could have reacted to. We didn't have time to react.
That we didn't.
So
Life gets in the way sometimes.
yes. So join us next week for Godzilla -1.
Roar!
First Godzilla film to make it onto the Cellcast. Our first kaiju film.
First real kaiju film.
Our,
Real kaiju film.
it's not Suitmation, so
Did we reviewed King Kong? Didn't we?
not reviewed King Kong on this show. We did it for Movie of the Week podcast.
That's right.
It's on the list at some point to do it, but I haven't actually put it on the list.
So
It's on my short list of stuff to add to the schedule.
So what are you referring to?
Technically, we did have Rumble, which was a kaiju wrestling film.
That's true.
Tentacles.
Barely.
It's technically a kaiju.
Yeah, technically a kaiju.
He's coming back.
You're welcome, Nate, and for those who are listening for Bad Movie Month.
And that's actually the only ones I can think of.
Okay.
We're not counting our crossover episodes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because we did have Kong and Gamera on those.
And Godzilla series.
Yes, but those are on his show. Those weren't on our show.
Those weren't on our show. Agreed.
Either way.
Yes.
Join us next week for that. In the meantime, for this episode, we're going to hit intermission. On the other side, we're going to talk about what we've been watching and some news if we've got any.
Yeah.
And then we will wrap it up for the evening.
Yes.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
This week, we suggest checking out Geek Devotions. Geek Devotions is a collaboration of devoted geeks that are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. They produce a weekly geek culture infused devotional, their podcast, Com Talk, and written articles, all designed to encourage... You know, I just realized this is what I should be doing next week. Because Geek Devotions likes kaiju too.
Okay. So scratch it.
Scratch that. Okay, this is technically fits. The Retro Rewind Podcast. Every other week. I did that last week.
You did.
Because it was that. Okay, then the Rushmore Show. The Rushmore Show is the place for ranking the ultimate top 4 in sports, video games, nostalgia, and movies, and so much more. Each week, Andy and Kirk spark engaging discussions and friendly debates, making the Rushmore Show your compass in the realm of pop culture rankings. You can find more about them at at their YouTube channel, The Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4 and nothing more. The Cellcast would also like to thank the following patrons. Ashley and Francis. The Cellcast would also like to thank the following patrons. Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, PaulJPowers.com, and the Monster Island Film Vault. Yes, we had somebody fall off, but he's getting it back eventually.
Nice.
If you would like to have your name shouted out on the show, special art from Jacob, uncut episodes, and still for a short time, exclusive access to our reviews of X-Men 97. You can donate to us at the $5 level on Patreon, or for $5 more, only $5 more,
Only 5.
for a total of 10, you can force us, within reason,
Yeah.
to watch and review a film on the podcast. There are things we will say no to.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you wish to promote us, go or to help us, go vote for us on Patreon, and technically, check our show notes, and you'll see a link to our Redbubble store, so you can actually buy a t-shirt with the Cellcast logo on it. Go do that. Please. Pretty please. With sugar on top. So, Jacob, I have a question for you.
What have you been watching?
Jack and Diddly and Squat.
I've never heard of Jack. I have heard of Diddley.
Okay. I haven't had time to do a thing, people. And it has been there again, getting married in 2 weeks. It's like everything starts colliding with each other. It's like this and this and this. You gotta get this done. You gotta get this done. You gotta get this done. And then it's everything be like, I've watched YouTube and listened to podcasts for most of the week because I get home, I've got to work on this. Got to do this, and this, and this, and this. It is like Drew can contest. It is very stressful because when we first got engaged, me and Ashley, it was like, okay, not a problem whatsoever.
But as we've gotten closer and planned, you've had to be putting more energy towards planning and getting stuff done. And yeah, admittedly, our rule on this show has always been real life comes first.
Yeah, agreed.
Between the two of us. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you've noticed a little of the things that Jacob is usually more responsible for that have been flaking a little bit, he's got good excuses and good reasons, and I am allowing him to flake on it. So yeah, I get it. I understand. You haven't even had time to yourself.
No, not really. Not really. It's literally I've get home, working this, go here, do this, go to sleep, get up in the morning, do it again. And it's draining. I'd be like, I'm enjoying it, but it's just draining. And it's going to be one of those after the wedding, the reception, it's going to go woof. And then I'm going to get everybody. It's like, Jacob, do this. Jacob, do this.
Commissions. We must have commissions. If
I would love
only,
that.
right?
I would love that. I've literally been I've been working on this commission for this guy for at least 2 years. And I've got like half of it done, and I just be like, it's all this stuff and everything in my own head, and it's just like, it is.
You just got to get it down on paper, get it inked, get it colored, and get it to the person.
It's just inking. And be like, that's it. It's not color or nothing. It's just ink. Because it's I'm not gonna give away what it is, because his style, he wanted more of Hank the Cowdog.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so it's kind of in that vein. So it's just inking. But yeah, it has been a whew. So I'm looking forward to, obviously, the marriage, the wedding, the reception is supposed to be fun, and that great. I keep hearing it's gonna be like you here.
That's how that goes.
Yes, I'm aware, but the
Just do what you're told.
Yeah,
Say your lines. You'll
Uh-huh.
be fine.
yes.
Everything will be fine that night.
As long as I don't say waffle, I'm fine. Waffly wedded wife with syrup on top.
I was just thinking, actually, so you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife. Waffle. What does
Waffle.
that mean?
Waffle good.
Yes,
I would do that, and everyone would laugh. Ashley looked like I'm gonna be like Dr. Mike, our pastor, would like laugh. Ashley would have killed me. My mother would want to kill me.
I don't suggest this. Anyway, so you haven't had a chance to watch a cotton picking thing
No, not
outside
really.
of Captain Harlock and
Yeah.
the journey of Joey.
In the journey of Joey. Yes. What have you been watching, listening to, or playing for most part?
14 has been what I've been playing.
Of course.
Surprise, surprise.
No.
There's a new expansion coming. Literally the week after you're married. I couldn't have timed it better.
No, you couldn't have.
Because granted, you rate better more than that game. You should know that. You and Ashley have rating more to that game.
yeah.
I was half expecting that Temptation was going to hit me bad. Because I was expecting they were going to give that release date to be June 21st.
Oh, yeah.
And I would be going, Jacob, I hope you understand how much I love you as a Christian brother. Because if you don't, I'm going to have to teach you a lesson.
Like, I'm missing my game. How dare you?
Well, granted, a few days wait would probably not be the worst thing.
No.
Because then the rush should go down. But no, like the week after that's like, and now I'm playing Dawn Trail. So, yeah, I've been playing 14. I have watched all of season 1 of The Bad Batch.
Okay.
Good show.
I wonder what that's for.
It's a good show. I'm not going to be able to hit my goal. I'll tell you that right now, because there's no way I'm getting through, what did I figure? 15 hours of content in 2 days? That's just not going to happen. So I'm just going to watch what I need to for a certain crossover event, in a sense, a certain guest hosting that unfortunately you're not going to be able to be there for.
No, I'm not.
Just because of timing, but unless things change.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have watched all of season 1 of The Bad Batch. It's a good show.
Yeah.
And I do suggest you watch it at some point.
Gotcha.
After you finish Clone Wars.
Yes, of course.
He's not. I can't mess with the guy. I want to mess with the guy.
I am this close to finishing Clone Wars.
Let me finish. I want to mess with you. I can't, because I only finished Clone Wars in the last year. So I have no room to talk.
Yes.
That being said, oh my gosh, those last 4 episodes. Some of the best on television, bar none. Anyway, this is a Star Trek fan saying this too, by the way.
Yes.
Other than that, that's all I've really had a chance to watch. Just because, I've not been as busy as you.
Yeah.
But I've been busy. Just it's what it is. So, what do we have in the news?
All right. So
The Cellcast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why, thank you. And the news is Revo Entertainment Corporation, Sony, and I'm going to butcher this, Namit Malhal Productions. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher this. I apologize. Company Prime Focus Studios announced today that they will be starting production on Angry Birds movie 3.
Let it die, let it die.
You mean
we don't need these Angry Birds anymore? Let them die, let them die. I don't have anything else to add to this song.
With DNEG Animation attached as animated partner, Prime Focus Studios, Ruvu, and Sony will produce the film with the association of Cool One Group, Flywheel Media, and Dynasty. Again, butchering names, so I apologize. So, yeah, apparently we are going to get, at some point, no release date whatsoever. This is like they're going into pre-production with this of a Angry Birds 3 movie. So, if you've watched Angry Birds 1, we reviewed Angry Birds.
We reviewed the first film. We have not reviewed the second one yet.
Yes. So,
Please
yeah.
no. Bad movie month, maybe.
But yeah, so if you are a fan of Angry Birds or the game, you might be excited about, oh my gosh, they're coming out with something else. So that's all I have in the news.
Well, this is going to be a short show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's June, and like the only news we generally have in June is how well the most current animated movie is doing in the box office, and there's not the only movie in the box office right now is Garfield, and I'm not hearing anything about it. That's what's scary.
It's doing okay. It's not doing bangers, but it's doing okay.
Right. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Once again, join us next week when our special guest Nate Marchand and more than likely a certain Jimmy from NASA will be joining us to talk about a film that got shafted at the Academy Awards, despite the fact it got Godzilla his first Academy Award. I have opinions.
Roar.
It didn't get as much as it should have.
I hear.
So yeah, join us next week for Godzilla -1. In the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron.
And his letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen.
His Facebook page, Drew's Photo Bin, to see his photography. His letterboxd page at GGeorge759. His Twitter at GGeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast. On Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming.
On YouTube at Cellcast.
On Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell, with a single L.
I thought you had something. I don't have anything.
Yeah, like just like the what was it? The hey Joey,
Oh,
that
sorry.
that.
Hey, you. Okay, good. Now I'm on the spot. Hey, Hey, Yugi. No, it's Yug. I'm not doing a good Brooklyn accent, but that's kind of the joke, too. Hey, Yug, I've trained Andromeda in attack position. You've activated my trap card. You will go to the Shadow Dimension. I will not, because I've cast Mechanization. You've activated my trap card, Mechanization. I am now stuck in the Shadow Realm. Wait, what happened?
It's a long like train.
Choo choo, choo choo, chaboogie, woo woo, woo woo, chaboogie, choo choo, choo choo, chaboogie. Take me back to the track, Jack. Ba-doo, 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 ba. Okay.
Phenomenon.
I'm actually singing a real song here.
I know you are, but I'm trying to change the melody just enough to where it's not.
We're not
copyright strike. Copyright strike.
You're not going to get copyright struck because we're not playing the actual song. But anyway.
Anyways, thank you guys so much. Oh my gosh. Hey, we actually throw somebody over on Twitch.
I'm going to try to throw people over to Twitch. If I can get there. I think I saw that Culture Box. I just love how now it's just showing my whole thing on screen now, so y'all are seeing what I'm doing.
Yes.
Because I didn't use a different thing. Following.
And I do like funny. I can do this, and my hands over here, but obviously, we're sitting across from each other.
Okay, so
So it makes it funny.
Yeah, the people I thought I was going to raid are gone. So
What?